How are we doing, everybody? Can you guys let me know that you can hear me and that you are all able to hear me? That's all I really need to know from you, wonderful people. Hang on a minute. Thank you. 1 second. I'm live. You want to say hi to everybody? Hello. Oh, that is nice for you. Say hi again. Hi. Oh, that is nice. So I'm just, in fact, I can show you what I'm doing. Hang on, how do I turn this around? How do we turn this around? Camera. That's my face. This one. This one? Yes. There we go. See, that's nice. Eh? Freaking, oh man, the window's all wet. So, obviously, yesterday, we've had the first part of the Diddy trial. We've had quite a ridiculous verdict based off of all the information we've known, the lifestyle this man's led, the years, the decades of trauma and abuse that has allegedly been laying at the heels of him. And then we end up with a glorified party boy charge being slapped on him. And I have to say, there's a lot of people talking about the jury maybe not fully understanding some of the elements of this. There's talk of a lot of it seems to be pointed at the jury and whether or not they were competent enough or fully knew the extent of what was happening. Why can't I see the comment section? Yeah, apologies. I pushed the wrong button. There we go. There we go. I can see the chat now. I do apologize about that. And I should be able to make this full screen, right? No. Oh well, never mind. Anyway, we're just sort of Ron cuts this off. we're going to get into all of that, but before we get into the Diddy side of things, we're just going to have a little look at what actually took place in the Diddy case, but then also what took place in other cases, because I feel like there's been a few things that have happened in the Diddy case that we don't often see. The main one being everyone just dropping what was in their hands and running their asses off. Okay. And I don't mean like Julia Vandel's mum, right? I don't mean like, oh, I'm going to go and stay with Auntie Carol. You know, like they moved. You know, like Jay-Z and his wife now live up the road from Sean. Ellen's moved. Leonardo DiCaprio's moved. I'm pretty sure the guy from the Butterfly Effect, Ashton Kutcher. Oprah. I'm sure they could blame it on Trump, right? They could say that, hey, this is not the one for me. Trump is not the one for me. Sure. But this is his second term now. So it's a head scratcher for me. It really, really is. I just want to say to everybody, anyone who is watching us, who usually watches us on Twitter, thank you for coming over to YouTube. I appreciate it. And please do like and share. We will be going through to the main studio in just a minute. Let's go through there now. And let's find somewhere that's not going to upset Dan to leave a cigarette. I don't want these chew little freaking bananas. Right. Well, let's go. All right. Okay, 1 second, everyone, while I just switch over to the main. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's my first date. It's my first date. So natural light looks okay. I'm okay with that. I don't know what's going on here, though. Something going on here. I need to sort my hair out. But the thing that really got to me was the fact that everyone just kind of ran. They all ran away. And that's something that we don't see very often, is this mass exodus of celebrities when another celebrity has been dragged into a court case. I mean, look at the Weinstein case. Look at the, what was his name? Huxtable. What was his name? The guy that was roofing all the women. The black dude, sitcom guy. What the hell was his name? You all know who I'm talking about. He wears a lot of woolly jumpers, right? None of his public service announcement adverts have aged well. Bill Cosby, thank you, thank you. So is Diddy this all-powerful overlord? Are we seeing the effects of an untouchable individual who got touched by the law? Off topic, R.I.P. Michaela. I don't know who Michaela is, but R.I.P. Michaela for sure. Why not? So here's the thing. Mike, this was just a domestic. See, do you know what, Mike? It's really mad that we refer to domestic violence case as just a domestic violence case. And I'm not saying in any way that you're being derogatory, but that's kind of how it feels, right? The weird thing about yesterday was people were saying, oh, I'm sick of the Diddy case. I'm sick of the Diddy case. Like, this community, above most other communities, felt exactly, Ronnie, thank you. It's not just domestic. But in the grand scheme of this case, I can understand the terminology. It certainly doesn't make it in any less serious situation at all. But what do you think? Is it an insane jury that just didn't get it? Was it I'm dealing with a bubble scenario. Is it what I mean? What we look at paydays for people? I need a brush. Hang on a second. Is it a payday that we're looking at? Where are y'all sitting on this? Because I can already feel Dan is not going to be happy that I'm using her brush. She gets a bit protective over her brushes. Cassie was in bed. See, here's the thing. I don't know if we're going to point fingers, right? But I get really, really, really frustrated when we see cases like this. And was it not all based off of this video evidence? Was it not all meant to be this almost Epstein Island Part 2? But I feel like all that was brought in were individuals where it could only be shaped to a domestic situation. Because when we look at text messages and emails from a decade ago, we all know what brainwashing is. We all know the effects of abuse and the control that can be had when it comes to a normal case like this, right? Mono dread. Yeah, Ron is struggling with this right now. So when it's a case like this, and you've got a lady who's trying to prove her case, but is saying things in text 1 minute about how excited she is about this, and you know, can't wait for the next freak off and all this stuff. We all know what we're looking at. We're looking at conditioning, especially of a 19-year-old girl or 20-year-old girl who's been signed up to one seriously insane record contract. I mean, talk about control tactics from another level, you know? And I don't know if I can go down the road of, oh, the jury just didn't get it. You know? Because I mean, you think like, I mean, what do you all think? Like, because for me, it seems like the cabal, okay, doing its cabal be caballing, right? Now, how are we all going to feel if the judge throws the book at Diddy and he gets 20 years, no bail, all that stuff? That has to be a win, right? Are we looking at a situation where we have to take what we can get out of this? I think it is 100%. Morning, Marie. Here comes Dan. Hi, Dan.
I just need to get nappies.
That's okay. Come and say hi, everybody. A total cabal be caballing, right? So they come and say hi.
Hello.
The mic's here.
I don't want to speak and say hello. Hello.
Yeah, so at least we're getting something, right? At least we're getting something. At least we're going to see kind of some justice. But I'm assuming by removing the RICO, by removing the okay, because we've got one. Okay, so we're going to refer to the T word that we can't say as the T word, and then actual transporting as transporting. Okay, otherwise it's going to get real. It's going to get real confusing. So by making this a domestic situation, have we now removed the necessity for the FBI to bring in video evidence, for the FBI to bring in not lawyers, but the politicians, the princes, the celebrities, all of that? Is that what we've done away with by making this a domestic situation? Because if so, then the cabal be caballing 100%. If there's anyone that's legally sort of minded, has this verdict resulted in us no longer needing to look into the cronies, the compadres of Diddy? I don't know. But look, can you guys like and share? Tomorrow, I'm going to be trying something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing away with StreamYard for most of my streams. And the reason for this is YouTube has two different forms of streaming now. There's the live streams that you're watching, and then there's the vertical live streams, where it's like TikTok live format. And in order for YouTube to pick up your live stream in the algorithm that way, you need to present it in the other format. And in order for that to happen, you need to use software that will present it in two different forms. So we're going to try that. Very good point. Wow. What is going to happen with all the people? That's a very good point. Let me just turn the sound off on this little guy here. Because what's going on with Courtney Burgess? Do you know what? Do you know what? Courtney Burgess, USB sticks, horrible things taking place, allegedly former lovers of Diddy, allegedly former young individuals whose names may or may not rhyme with Schmushton Schmieber. What happened to all that? What happened to all that, mate? Where's that? Where's the Epstein list? Like how many more absolute crap shows are we going to have to sit through before something really, really happens? I mean, we've literally seen former American soldiers take petrol, douse themselves in it, and set them fire in front of government buildings. That happened last year. Nothing happened. No change. Nothing. And that was a dude on fire. Right? If I set myself on fire for anything, legislation better be changed the next day. That's all I'm saying. So what's it going to take? What's it going to take to actually shake all this up? Because we know that we live in a world where we have the passive news consumer, right? We know that a certain God damn it. Sorry, I was just shouting it down there for a second. So what's it going to take for people to actually pay attention? Because passive news consumers will just see headlines that say Diddy acquitted, Diddy not guilty. No, you don't, sweetheart.
No, I don't have it. But...
It's okay, sweetheart. I'll find it. I'll find it. It was just if you've seen it. Have a look inside the hoodie for me, in the pockets. Oh, yes, right here. Thanks, babe. Thanks, babe. So, what's it going to take? Because people are going to read the headlines, the passive consumers are going to read the headlines, and they're just going to simply see acquitted, not guilty. Also, Ron is definitely back on Twitter. So please tag me and stuff for this show each day. Let's see if we can get me up to 1,000 followers. Let's see if we can get me up to 15K on YouTube. That would be freaking awesome. Mods, that's our new little mission, is 15K for Ron. We are currently at 14,780. Okay, we got this, people. We got this. Now, it just sort of made me think. Now, let me just pull up some of my notes here. 1 second, by the way. Because I've got a full Diddy trial breakdown here, okay? And I want to go through some of the key points of the case. But before we do that, I just need to ask my wonderful assistant here. 1 second. In fact, let's go 24 years, 25 years. All right. So we're asking the wonderful assistant here, please list all the Hollywood stars in the last 25 years who have been charged with sex crimes against adults and children. Okay. So we'll let the wonderful assistant do its thing here, because it's a big list, yo. You know, and I hate to tell you, boys, we ain't looking good on this list. This ain't one of those. Oh, this is an equal split of criminality, right? It ain't that. It really is not that. So let me just pull this up as well. Itchy arm. And I want you to talk about how you remember these cases, right? Because the Weinstein case completely fell apart. I think he's only got one charge left. I think he's guilty of that charge. But it's a damn sight less than he was accused of. So Harvey Weinstein, multiple victims, adult women convicted, and all this stuff, right? Bill Cosby, Kevin Spacey, Danny Masterson, that was wild. And the fact that, what was his name? Gomer. Butterfly Effect Gomer. Him and the voice of frickin' Meg came to his assistance, character witnessing for him. Yeah, where are the tapes? Where are the Epstein tapes? Where is all of it? It's like there must be a big room in the White House called actual evidence, and they just shove it all in there. R. Kelly, Roman Polanski, Gary Glitter, Mark Solling from Glee, Stephen Collins, Paul Rubens. List any women who have been charged also. Let's have a look. Alison Mack. Oh man, what a crazy lady! Do you all know the Alison Mack story? That was the Nexium cult, and she was at the forefront of it, y'all. I mean, yeah, there it is. There, Nexium pleaded guilty in 2019. Sentenced to 3 years, released early in 2023 for these charges. Sounds a lot like racketeering, right? If there's forced labor involved, then this must be an enterprise. Asia Argento, actress, not criminally charged, civil settlement. At Jimmy Bennett over essay of a was never charged. Okay. Charisma Carpenter. Do you see the difference here? We've got one real crazy lady. Then we've got probably a PDF who had to pay out of court. Then we have Charisma Carpenter, sometimes confused online, but only made accusations about others, never charged. That's the list of women. Bro, like, we've got a problem here, guys. Like, we have a problem. Okay. And I'm sorry, guys, right? But there's no way in hell, okay? There's no way in hell anyone's ever going to convince me that men are more evil than women, okay? It's kind of 50-50 down the board, right? I think women have a lot more self-control. I think women have a lot more self-control and are smarter about the things that they do the majority of the time when it comes to this level of criminality. So, men, okay, I've got a funny feeling a lot of this takes place because the other men around these men convince them it's all right. Let's boil it down. Let's boil it way down, okay, to men being goofballs. Take away all the criminality. We like to push the boundaries when it comes to busting chops of our friends, pranks, whatever. But you can't be telling me that without a support network, this list would not be this way. So what does that say about us? Does that mean that men want to surround ourselves with enabling individuals to give ourselves the ego boost required in order to justify these actions? Because it's something. It's something. It comes from hating your mother. Does it? Is Shane, are you in the, if Shane's in the chat, do you remember what Delmas Colvin's relationship was with his mum? Does anyone remember? If Shane's here, he'll know. If not, I'll ask him when he comes in. because there is a theory about the hatred towards the mother. There's a definite theory behind that. Yeah. Hang on a second. So logo focus, your terminology there. Oh, like MAIs. Change the last word to people. And that's the actual term, MAP, map. Underground worker attracted person. I think only just because it makes another word. You know, people love words that abbreviate other words. So pay attention for that abbreviation that you've given me, logo, sorry, but also the one I just told you. Another one is AM, AAM, and that is adult attracted underground worker. Yeah. I done a whole video about a woman on YouTube who was claiming that Jake Paul had abused her on a plane when she was 15. And I knew she was absolutely full of it. Okay. And I broke this woman down in her DMs, managed to break her, got her in tears, got her to confess that she was 21 and she was making all this up. But she actively promoted the Mappin' movement. Like every single one of her Instagram uploads was comedy sketches based off of the horrible things that happen to children, but not just that, but horrible things that could happen to children by a family member, right? And oh yeah, we'll get to that actually, Carpenter. That's a really good point. So there's a lot of stuff going around us now about addiction, all right? And obviously addiction creates impulses that people can't control. So in my head, I would argue that addiction, whether it's something horrible, like tying a bunch of people up and doing horrible things to them, or smoking a brown, you know what I'm saying, smoking a brown. When you look at this scientific test with, in fact, let's pull it up. Let's pull this up because this kind of blew my mind. And again, I'm not a scientist. I'm not saying this is all fact, but the science man is, okay? Because this, I really do feel this has, oh God, please be loud enough. All right, so how wasn't this?
Everything we think we know about addiction is wrong. You get a rat and you put it in a cage and you give it 2 water bottles. One is just water and the other is water laced with either heroin or cocaine. The rat will almost always prefer the drug water and almost always kill itself quite quickly. In the 70s, Professor Alexander comes along and he looks at this experiment and he noticed something. He said, we're putting the rat in an empty cage. It's got nothing to do except use these drugs. Let's try something a bit different. So Professor Alexander built a cage that he called Rat Park. They've got loads of cheese, they've got loads of tunnels, they've got loads of friends. But here's the fascinating thing. In Rat Park, they don't like the drug water. You go from almost 100% overdose when they're isolated to 0% overdose when they have happy and connected lives. Maybe we shouldn't even call it addiction. Maybe we should call it bonding. When we're happy and healthy, we'll bond and connect with each other. But if you can't do that, you will bond with something that will give you some sense of relief. What if addiction is about your cage? Because the opposite of addiction is connection.
Right. So it's easy when we look at things that we know are addictive, right? That particular water and the substances in them. Our brain goes, hey, that makes sense to us. But what if it's a non-conventional habit? What if it's cheeseburgers or chocolate or, P-Hub or, I don't know, something else, okay? But traditionally not an addictive substance. What does that mean? Because that is where we're looking at the diddlers and the people that are alleged compulsive abusers, right? So when we look at what we just talked about, when we looked at this list and we asked ourselves about men and who we surround ourselves with, it doesn't matter if it's a cage and a lack of connection, but the wrong connections can surely end with the same results, because that negative feeding of your friend group who's egging you on to, you know, stick another poor victim down in the dungeon creates the same situation of disconnection from a normal functioning society as an empty cage would, as normality is still not there. Yeah, exactly. So it's actually the serotonin and the dopamine that you become addicted to. You know, if you do something over and 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 over again, it's that dopamine hit that your brain becomes a junkie. It's crazy. Like when you actually break down how simple all of that sounds, you start to question whether or not it can be as simple as that. And when you look at the experiment with the rats, and you look at society, and we look at the dirty junkies on the streets, okay? None of us on a daily basis are doing anything to counteract that. I mean, some of you probably are. Some of you definitely probably are. But I'm not. I'm not doing nothing. So is it really about the junkie needing help? Or are we the ones that need the help? And I'm being serious. Because it would seem to me that the cage that these individuals are in who suffer from addiction, we're the ones keeping them in that cage. And it only applies to junkies. When it applies to like impulse monsters, it's their own individuals that are keeping them in the cage. But does that then mean, right? Does that then mean if we took a Diddy and put him in an intensive course of normalization, right? Like he's got to get up and do a 9 to 5, he's got to come back and kiss the wife, he's got to, you know, is there an argument to be made that there is normalization therapy that could be a function? See, legalizing them ain't the way forward, right? Because if you legalize things that are, you know, for example, the one that begins with F that replaced the brown stuff, the white stuff, the crystal stuff, we can't legalize all of that. Can we? Can we? And by legalizing it, what are we doing? We're not removing stigma. We're increasing access. And what does that mean? Does that mean we're going to have a bunch of people jumping at the bit to go and use substances that have previously been frowned upon? I don't think it does. But in countries where they've had success, America tried this and failed because America is the crown jewel of planet Earth for doing everything wrong. Okay? The most dumbfounded level of stupidity when it comes to a country in the Western world. Dumbasses. And I'm sorry, I've had enough of mollycoddling this. Okay? You're the most heavily armed race on the planet, and you're all terrified. Absolutely terrified, mate. Half of you don't even have enough water. Like, this is the Western Hemisphere, mate. Like, sort your people out, get them healthcare, get them watered. Please, America. Let's stop worrying about the rest of the world. Genuinely, no one cares about your input anymore. Okay? If we can just get your president on a stage, knocking the crap verbally out of other politicians, I would watch that all day. Okay? And Texas, I knew a Texas girl years ago. I was in high school, I think, just out of high school. And like, do you know how easy it would be to just trigger Texas into a civil war? Like, Texas will quite happily fight for Texas. Texas ain't going to fight for America. Texas will fight for Texas real happily. Okay? And I'm down with it. I think we need to completely disassemble all of this United Kingdom, United States of America. Nah, mate. Nah. You've tried it. Okay? Doesn't work, mate. All right? doesn't work. You're at it. You are about 5 minutes old, and you think that you are the big swinging gomers. Anyway, what was my point in this? I can't remember. This went off on a rant. Also, I'm not really talking about Americans here. I'm mainly talking about. Thank you, Phil. Thank you. So America tried to do what Portugal did, which was decriminalize all substances in some states. And the states in which they have done it in, they have created the zombie apocalypse. Okay, they have created a need for regular citizens to understand what Narcosil is and Narcan is. You've got individuals who are handing out these substances from little shops and bodegas because the situation is so freaking horrendous. Now, what's the difference between Portugal and Norway and all these other places that have done a successful decriminalization to remove stigma and to help individuals? Because wouldn't it be wonderful if Sally, who has been using her whole life to deal with horrible things that happen to her, she's managed to keep her job, she's managed to maintain a habit and do a normal life. Wouldn't it be great if there was no stigma for her, like an alcoholic, like somebody who's trying to get off cigarettes? If there was a government support system where people were not beaten down. Because I'll tell you this right now, 99% of addicts who are proper hardcore addicts never woke up one morning in a brilliant life and went, you know what? Things are going pretty well right now. Let's derail everything. Junkie time. No one's done that. No one's done that. Okay. So are we looking at a problem facilitated in Hollywood by the individuals who are surrounding potential monsters? And are we looking at a cage that seals them out from a normality that arguably could assist in rehabilitation of these people? And I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just going off of this rat experiment. Now, I've known users from both sides of both sides of the spectrum. I've known users who are absolute scum of the earth, right? They will literally come and knock on your door and try and sell you blocks of cheese, okay? Scum, all right? But I've also known headmasters of schools who've been functioning H addicts their whole life. You would never guess. They're not unhealthy looking, they're not withdrawn, they're not anything. They're normal, functioning members of society, but there's no criminality involved in their habit. There's no victims in their habit. There is merely the self-managing of this habit. So for me, I think it's an interesting experiment when we look at the rats, especially when it's, almost 50 years ago. Wait, what? My daughter stole baby formula and sold it to a drugstore before they were caught. Okay. Okay. I mean, okay. Baby formula is expensive. We use formula. And it's probably in American dollars, it's probably, hey, what is it? It's like 13 quid a tub for her formula. Yeah, about 13 bucks. So let's say $18. Let's say about 18 or $20 per tub of formula. And she maybe goes through like two a week, maybe, because she a chunk. But here's the difference, Linda. Like, are you in the USA or where are you based? I mean, you don't have to tell us. I'm pretty sure you're in the UK, but I just thought I would ask. Baby formula is one of the most stolen items in the UK. Yeah, and cheese. Like, it's bad when the Co-op and Scotland Uber have got blocks of cheese in plastic containers, right? Do you know what I'm saying? It's bad. It's bad when societies. I mean, the steaks you can understand. The steaks you can understand, but the cheese. Yeah. Yeah, cheese, man. I'm telling you. The cheese is right up there. Cheese. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Freebie. Do you know that is the one substance that humans can eat from the moment they're born to the minute they pass away is little boob milk. It'd be really, and this is going to sound like a weird experiment, right? But has anyone ever just like stuck a person in a room and told them that the world's ended and like this is the world, and just fed them breast milk until they were in their mid-50s to see if like they can move stuff with their mind or if they grow wings or anything like that? Because for me, I'm just saying. I also think that's why you can't remember being a baby. Because who wants to remember doing that to their mother? You know what I'm saying? All right, like and share, people. Okay, let's get back to this Diddy case. So we've seen the evidence that men are a bit of an issue when it comes to these sort of crimes. Does it mean that they are the only contributors? Absolutely not. But it does make me wonder about the boys club mentality. In fact, let's take the word boys out of it. Lurpak, big one, 750 cats, right? The little shop around the corner from me, they used to do these crazy online deals. And I'd wake up in the morning and some days it was 99p for a block of Lurpak. You bet your ass every day that offer was on. At least once a day, I'm ordering a coffee from there. Coffee and a packet of Pokemon. Coffee and a packet of Pokemon. Slap on the Lurpak for £1. I've got a stockpile of Lurpak now. Do you know what I'm saying? Whenever I have people around, though, if I'm cooking for people, I will purposely go and buy one of those massive kilo boxes of Lurpak. It's like a flex now. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like a weird flex. Who's having a bath? What's she done? She's just had breakfast. She takes after her dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, just mash the food into your face. So, before we hit the Discord and bring in the team, I need to just double check that you all understand that I need you to like and share. This is a new show. It's a new time, 11 o'clock. It's not even daytime. And we're online talking. It's a beautiful thing. And we will get the times for this right. We will be trying things. And yeah, Nova is awesome. You'll see her during the stream. I've got a wee high chair for her, so she's gonna come and join us some days. Honestly, do you know what my point was in all of this? Men need to do way, way, way better of understanding what dangerous men are. Okay? Understanding that you being a pussy ain't going to cut it anymore. Oh, I think something's happening, but I don't have the confidence to say anything. Shut up, pussy. Okay? Grow a set of balls. You can call the police anonymously. Did you know that? Hi, I'm a shite bag and I want to do that. Get it done. Get it done. Because until we start taking responsibility for the people that we surround ourselves with, even if it's 7 degrees of separation, even if it's a friend of a friend of a friend, get it done. I've got daughters, right? Luckily, I raised savages, you know? My eldest daughter's broken jaws and knocked teeth out and done all kinds of stuff. You ain't going to mess with them. They will put holes in your face, okay? Guaranteed. Now, I'll do a course on your channel on toxic behavior. Yeah, okay, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great, Uber. Thank you. So, I don't have any people in my life that would conduct themselves in a way I wouldn't conduct myself. Okay? Maybe people that are braver, right? like bungee jumpers and that. Like I'm probably not going to be like, oh, I can do that because I'm a shite bag. Okay, do as I say, no as I do. But when it comes to taking accountability for those who we allow in our presence, allow to share air with us, there's no more excuse now. It's over with. There's no more, oh, well, you know, we always thought Billy was a bit of a weirdo. Did you? You always thought he was a weirdo, did you? So you could have prevented this. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Because it sounds like it. Difference when it comes to individuals who are under the radar monsters. Okay. When it comes to those that are undetectable, we will all sit back together and go, who would have known? You know, who in the hell would have known? We're always going to get cases like that. Let's look at the Diddy case and the fact that about the domestic side of it. Okay. You ever lived in a house where you live next to neighbors and all of a sudden you hear something through a wall and you just ignore it? How can you ignore it? There's a number you can call. It's only 3 digits. Anonymously. And if there's nothing going on, there's nothing going on. Like, it doesn't take a genius. It's not as simple as that. I do understand. But men, we can no longer have the excuse of we just didn't think he would do that. He was a bit of a weird. Nah, it's over with now. It's 2025, mate. The diddler is apparently just a bit of a domestic abuse scamp. That's the world we live in, people. Okay? Totally legitimate. He definitely never done anything worse than that, right? Madness. Proper madness. Madness. Oh, hang on a second. I actually need to send a link to Paula for tonight as well. Let's just do this when we're live too. Now, I'm hoping that next week we're going to kind of, like I said, we're going to kind of expand this into a little bit of a longer show, maybe like 11 till 3 or 4. We'll get things formatted a little bit better. It has been a bit of a crazy one this week, so I did kind of overshoot a little bit, but that's okay. Paula M. Paula M. Paula M. There we go, Paula. Now, hopefully, Matthew Steeples and Paula are going to come and join me for a show next week, delving into some of the crimes and conspiracies that they are passionate about. No, listen. Domestic violence and all of that is horrific. It is not a tiny little crime. In the grand scheme of the Didosphere, it's a tiny one. It's compared to all of the things he did, tiny crime. It's a horrific crime. But to go from a global racketeering T word, substance, whatever. This is, do you know what I mean? It's like driving a truck through someone's entire side of their house and then being done for trespassing. Do you see what I mean? Technically, yes, he was trespassing, but also there's a freaking Hummer in my living room. Do you see what I'm saying? It's disgusting. Or maybe we were all totally wrong and, Hollywood's awesome and Diddy's great. Maybe we've just got it all wrong, guys. I doubt it. But crazy things have happened. But yeah, don't drive your Hummer through my house and expect to just be done for trespassing. You know, and that's basically what I feel has happened here. And it's sad. It's sad for people like Cassie. It's sad for the victims of all this. You know, I will say this wholeheartedly. Women who lie, okay, to try and destroy men needs to be strung up and dealt with, okay? And I guarantee you there's some of them in this case. Guarantee you there is some people fishing for a bag. So how do we prevent another diddler? How do we prevent people like Cassie not coming forward for a decade? What's missing? What's missing, ladies and gentlemen? How do we solve this? Because this can't be the standard. In the same way as men need to take accountability. You know what's coming, ladies. There needs to be something fixed with this issue of reporting crimes. Because we're slowly running out of patience for that. Sorry. If we all agree men need to act now and men need to police their own, you can't be waiting 10 years. You can't be waiting 10 years. It's harsh what I'm saying. I understand that. I really, 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 really do. And I'm talking as a man who can have no concept of what a woman has gone through. But what is missing? What is missing from society that makes it impossible? Is it maybe it's coming to terms with the crime? Okay, so what does that mean? Like, we really need to figure this out, because women not feeling like, especially in the UK, right? A lot of women feel like the R word is being legalized here, right? What sort of a society are we living in where women feel that? That is disgusting. In fact, let me prove my point here. Honestly, it's definitely not a movie. It's not a documentary about rap music. Learn to spell. Documentary about women who feel. I definitely didn't imagine this. There's a lot of stuff coming up about the Stacey Dooley case. And I do believe. 1 second. Yeah, it's exactly what I'm talking about here. It's all about survivors of this particular crime, how they can get help, how they can get justice. Yeah. I spoke to Julia last week. Ron, are we sharing the call in server out on here, or is it just the research agents? No, fire the call in server. Absolutely, fire the call in server out. We'll get some people on for some opinions, and please do make sure you like and subscribe. Most important thing is trying to build this little show up. Also, we will have music, and it will be more like a live stream from tomorrow. It's incredibly hard to think with just me. So R on Trial is a compelling and unflinching look at R and the challenges within the justice system. The BBC, eh? Hey, the irony in that. The BBC notes it also reinforces the need for change and highlights the importance of supporting survivors. Look, stop with this crap, with this supporting survivors. We need a system in place that gives women the capability, the confidence, knowing there's a system that is going to help. Surely removing the stigma. How about when a woman comes in and says she's been AR'd, you don't spend the next freaking 3 weeks, Police Scotland, going through their Facebook, seeing if they ever, you know, oh, I don't know, kissed another girl or wore a short skirt. Why do women feel like they are the ones being investigated so often? Hiya.
Okay.
Do you want to come and come on, we'll talk about this. Come on. Come here, you.
Should I let you wash your hair?
That's okay. That's okay. Uh-huh. Listen, here's your microphone. All right. There you go. Don't hit your head up. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Anything else? How do you feel that we can fix these problems? Right? And would you agree that there is an invisible cage of society, right? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. But is it an invisible cage that society is creating to enable these individuals? Okay. So do you think then by giving, so should we put Diddy in a prison that's like a normal day in the life? Is that the reconditioning these monsters need? Is that a normality prison they need? What do you think? Yeah, I know once your powers develop, you will burn the world. Did you just burp? Was that a little burp? You're a bit low. You want to push the buttons? You push the buttons. You know this, okay? You can do your thing. Oh, you want this too? All right. So how can we turn the corner on this? Like, if women are at a point where they feel like they're the victim, they're the one being investigated. If 14% of our crimes in the UK are reported and less than 1% have a conviction rate, she's 6 months, man. What does that mean? Yeah, I do need 2 chairs now. I'm back on the murder bench. I just didn't want to mention it. Okay. Hi. This is yeah. I know you're having a great time. You could be up a little bit higher though. There you go. Oh my God. Please don't get upset. Mama goes around. Don't get upset. Just cover the glass. Good glass. That's my girl. So, what is it that we need to put in place? Because clearly, everything that is in place is failing. Yeah, that's right. It's failing. Yeah. It's failing. Because the statistics showcase they showcase that it's failing. 14%. So for every 100 R's that take place, 14 people ask for justice, and 1% of them get a conviction. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying or not? Yeah, you do. Okay. So I just don't get it. I don't get how it can have been allowed to get this bad. And as a society, you got something you want to say? No, 'cause I'm talking about society. Now, if that's just hang on, 1 second. What's this? Look? What's this? There's a bit of a bit of Donald Trump dancing. This is what's calmed her down. Just so that we're all on the same page here. This is what she's watching. Yeah, here you go. You watch your guy. Watch him. Here you go. Watch the tanned man do his thing. Yeah, you're all right. Watch him. Okay. So how do we fix this? And I'm being serious. Because if this is just a case of women feeling like there is no point in even asking for justice, that is a level of failure across the board, whether it's America, whether it's here, whether it's whatever part of the Western world you want to talk about. That is a disgusting failure. But then, how do we prove these things happen? Do we live in a world where we should all just have CCTV? Like if we all wore body cams, because let's be honest, I'm not going to, and listen, I'm not being stupid here. You already are carrying around in your pocket a high definition microphone, a high definition camera, and a tracking device. Oh, but it's my privacy. Is it? So you think that Google and Apple aren't just filming and tracking you all day, right? Because they are. So if they're doing that, why are we not adapting and utilizing everything that's already in our pocket to elevate our security to a next level? You know? Because all I'm saying, and this is going to sound real messed up, if you're a crazy R word and Diddy, are you chewing on my cable? Don't chew on that. What are you doing? What are you doing? All right. No, you 100% are allowed to film in public places. Do not ever think you're not allowed to film in public. There is no law that states you can't film maybe on private property, but every public domain in the world you can film on. Don't let any, unless I'm wrong and you live in like Azerbaijan and you get sniped for that. But in the UK and in America, you ain't getting told to stop filming in a public space. No chance. But I think a lot of people misinterpret public spaces for private property. So, for example, Walmart, private property, seems very public though. But that's the thing, man. So this is going to sound messed up. If you're an evil diddler, and on one side of the road, there's a woman with a CCTV camera mounted to her chest and back, and on the other side, there is a woman who does not. And I'm not just saying for women. Like I'd happily wear the tiny cameras just to normalize it and help everybody out. 100%. 100%. Airports are pretty strict. Are they? I don't think they are. Literally go and Google TikTok dancer at airport. Right? It's all misconception. Everyone, you're all being brainwashed. Okay? So, I mean, maybe if you're standing, right, filming the planes as they're refueling and then taking like weird notes, somebody might point it out to you. But this whole you can't film is crazy. Crazy. It was like I reserve the right not to publicly show my face. And I did that for probably from 2015, maybe 2014, right up to 2018. Every time I left the house, I reserved the right to hide my face. I had a balaclava, one of those like thin mesh looking balaclavas with the eyes cut out, and then a neoprene mask that would go over the top of that, and then a schmaw that would go around my head. And I remember trying to get on a bus one day and the bus driver telling me that I had to show my face on the bus. So I paid my fare and I sat down and I told him to call the police, and then he drove off. Like, you do not have the right to know who I am. You think you have to give up the right for everyone to know who you are? Absolutely not. Are you getting filmed with your permission? No. Suck their mums. Yeah? Tell them. Here, tell them. Tell them. Come on. Listen, I will buy you anything you want if your first words could just be that. That would just be epic. I mean, not practically, but for bands, brilliant. Okay, so no, don't push the button, sweetheart. You're trying to push all the buttons on the laptop. There's her little head. Look at her little head right here. She's so adorable. She really is just so adorable. Yeah, face recognition cams are in every cam. See, there's another thing, cats, right? Facial recognition cameras have nothing to do with cameras. Okay? It's just software. You could take a Nokia freaking 2510 or whatever, rip out the camera, hook it up to some AI, and you would have a terrible version of what you're talking about. Every single camera that points at you that is connected to any government or any multi-million-dollar company is overstepping the margin of what they're allowed to do every time. Every single one of us would be, are you okay? Yeah? You having a good time? Yeah, you're having a good time. Do you know what we should do? We should maybe put the desk up. Let's put the desk up a bit. And then we can stand and you can kind of sit on the desk. Hello! Where's Dan? Dan in the living room. See you. Right, so. See, now we can pick you up. Like this. All right. Okay. Bring it a little bit higher. Dun, 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 dun. She's so cute. Let's see. Yeah. We're going to get the ladies on in a minute. It's like, where are the ladies, Dad? You're boring. There's Mum. Come here, Mum.
No.
Yeah, come on. Oh, God. Look at the state of me. Right. Can we kind of sit your bum here? You think? Yes. Okay, but no one can see you now. Why are you so wonderful? Okay. Do you know what I think? I honestly think, right, that primitive man must have had really ugly babies. Because if you had nothing to do but sit in a cave and like pull your pud off, right, all day and kill like a boar, and you've got a cute little thing like this to look at, mankind's dying out. Do you know what I'm saying? Dying out. So they must have been real grim. Hiya. Hi. Yeah, that's my beard. So let me get Discord set up as well and not drop the child. Obviously, it's not the right server. Oh, sugar! Everyone's waiting. Right, hang on. Uber, Cheyenne, Pamela Malam, Lady Cat. Can we hear you, ladies? Welcome to the Discord, ladies. You're live on the channel. How are you? And Uber as well. How are you? How are we all doing today? Yeah, Nova says hi to you, all you guys. I'll move the camera over. Yeah, she's having a good time. She's having a good time. Please make sure you're sat on the edge of this table. Okay? I will get cancelled if you fall off this table. There's no sound on Discord. Is that what you're saying? Hang on. Okay, yeah. Oh my God. The ladies are fantastic. They do need to learn some live stream etiquette. Right, give me a minute. I will go and fix the Discord. Give me 1 second, everybody. You're gonna have to go and see Mum and Dad. These two hands. Hang on a second, babe. I'll bring her through. That's okay. You can come back. Or you can do your high chair. We don't need nothing. We just need the high chair. That's what we need. There you are. Get your wee arms in. Also, the people that invent the locking systems on babies, everything, are complete sociopaths. Like, I shouldn't need an engineering degree to put a child's car seat in a car. Right, also, right, we can move this. Right, now we need to fix the ladies' sound issues. So, ladies are on Discord. Right, ladies, can you in the side chat? Oh, hang on a minute. Why are you all not telling me that the microphone isn't the right microphone? You all have been watching this stream, and I've been using the crappy microphone, and none of you have mentioned it. Side chat, you have failed today.
It's the wrong
We
microphone.
were just checking to see
No,
if
you
would
might
notice.
yesterday was bad, but your mic today seems like the normal one.
Yeah, that's because I've just changed it to the normal one. Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Well,
Discord.
it sounded normal before you just said it was the wrong one.
Nah, you all lying. You all lying to me.
Whatever.
Yeah, you lying. You all lying. You all fibbing. You fibbers. Okay, so obviously, like, we want to sort of touch on the Diddy reaction.
Yeah, KLG saying
and
before
everything
that
that's happened
sounded fine.
yesterday. So take us through it if you can, ladies. Just where you guys are at, and I'm going to sort this table out.
Oh, we were just talking about the some of the things that the defense was saying at the press conference yesterday.
Okay.
And Garagos Kimzik came out, and he thanked everybody and said it was justice prevailed and everything went well. And then Agnifilo came out and he said that they're not giving up on the bail request.
Yeah. I think he's just really bugging the judge, isn't he, about that?
Well,
they're going to.
Why would he be denied bail? Why would he be denied bail at this point?
Well,
Because
he was
he's
denied
bail before sentencing so that he can be at home before they sentence him.
Because he's a flight
his
risk, that's why.
Yeah, his family.
Yeah.
If the aeroplane is in Mauritius or something and isn't coming back.
I'm sorry.
they'll
Has he
give
been
up his
charged? I'm
passport and
sorry. Has he been charged with a violent crime?
Well, the
Towards
thing
women.
is,
Has he?
the judge said that the defense in their closing arguments admitted that he was a violent man.
Yeah.
The letters submitted by Cassie and Jane, and they had a couple of others.
Let me just ask
said
again.
that they were fearful if he got out.
Yeah. So let me just ask you again. What violent crimes was he committed of? None, right?
He was, wasn't
It
it?
was in the civil case with
No. There's been
Cassie and Jane.
No. There was no violent charges in a civil case against Cassie. It was an out of court settlement. Now, arguably, we've all seen a video that definitely proves that he was a violent man. But that wasn't a conviction. That was a lady that was a woman who is happy to avoid justice, take a payout, and go swanning off with her life. That's what happened. Okay.
Yeah, but then I think
So again, let me just reiterate one more time, ladies. What violent crimes was he charged with? Because none, right? That would be the answer, yeah?
None.
So why would we deny him bail? Why is he being denied bail? Obviously, we know he's an evil monster. Please understand, I'm on your side, but I need to push back on this because, like, there's no violence. There's nothing. So how do we justify all this then at this point?
That's the thing. There's so much to this case that it's and there's some things that are sealed that we don't even know about. So there could be other reasons why the judge, despite him not having any guilty charges of violence, why he may be taking a stance that he has.
Okay, so that's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. So, sorry, I'm just going to bring in Kat and Kaz. I don't know, Kaz, are you up there doing mod stuff, or you want to come in here?
Kazabasa.
Hello.
Were you wanting to come in here, Kaz, or were you just up there modding? I just didn't want to leave you up there modding if you wanted to come in and say something. That was all.
I'll come here now.
That's fine. Good. Right, let me just fix your volume for you. Hang on.
Oh, go on, Heather.
Kat's welcome to the show as well.
Hi,
Hey, Kat.
So,
Hi, Kath.
so we're like,
Yeah.
I understand the absolute level of hypocrisy of this case. I absolutely understand that Diddy probably did a lot of those things. But,
Yep.
but also, you can't have your cake and eat it, right? So he's either guilty and should be denied bail because he's a risk or a threat or whatever,
Yes.
or he should be given bail. Personally, if I was Diddy, I'd want bail, but I'm not Diddy, so I don't really think that he should
Of
get
course
bail.
he's going to want bail. He's going to fight tooth and nail to get out.
But he's also a menace to society because of the fact that he's violent,
Well,
isn't it? And I think they just want to. I mean, to be fair, the sentences, I think that's just kind of around the corner. That's not gonna, I don't think he's gonna be in there for that long because the bail is only up until they sentence him.
Yeah, which is why
Do you
they're
know what I
trying to
mean?
get him
Yeah.
out at the moment.
Yeah.
oh, I'll be
Because
honest
it's
with
like
you.
I think
they're
he-
trying to bring it forward.
Yeah, the second he gets out, he's gone.
Yeah.
Just to be clear. Like,
Well, that's yeah.
like,
Right, and that was
I
one of the
thought.
things that the judge said. He did
Yeah.
not prove that he would not flee.
Yeah.
So what are we thinking that he's going to get out?
nah,
Well,
nah.
they're trying.
Nah, if
he's
he
gonna
His
was-
get
lawyer's
out.
going to
Gonna get a
fight
couple
for
of years at least.
packing or home.
If he was going to get out,
They're
going
going to put him on a tag or something. So if he gets out,
And doesn't he go to some other place? Do they go to another place before
all right,
they
honestly,
register?
listen, Discord, I'm sorry. I'm just going to start muting you when you go off on like your side tracks. So I honestly think that if he got bail, he'd be gone, right? And if he wasn't about to get a fat sentence, I think he would have got bail, right? What do you think, ladies? Do you think the fact that we are seeing the continued denial of bail, that we're going to see the 20-year sentence handed down, or do you think we're going to see some? Oh, but well, maybe you can serve 5 and get out in 2. I
don't think he's going to get the full whack.
You don't think
No,
so?
I don't think he will. He should do, but I don't think he will.
But
I think-
does anybody think he's going to get back to court for any other charges?
No, I don't think
Do.
so.
Because that was something else you guys mentioned yesterday, was the possibility that this is all building up to another set of charges or another case that the feds have got. But
I 100% believe that.
But here's the thing:
Yeah.
like, when has that ever happened? Like, is that something that happens in courts, or is that just us?
Yes,
It is.
it can happen. Yeah.
And is that just
Normally, the feds do a lot more evidence gathering and watching and doing for years before they bring anything to court, so they have locked down solid evidence. But because Diddy wanted a quick trial, it meant that they weren't able to collate as much information as they would usually.
no? But why would
Which is why I
why
think
would
they've
Diddy
cut
have-
and run now, because they know they've got other stuff that they're going to be going for.
Okay. What the hell do you mean? What the hell are you talking about? Did he want a quick trial? Who cares? That's not how it works.
Yeah, I know.
That's
The
but
how
person-
it
the per-
works.
oh God,
But for
honestly, Discord. So there's not a world we live in where if you're accused of a crime, you turn around to the courts and say, "Get this moving, come on." What are you talking about? Is that a
What
thing?
happened?
yeah,
So
that
that
is what they
trial,
did.
was that trial like based?
Okay,
solely
wait, Kaz, I'm sorry. So you're saying, ladies, that you are stating here right now that you believe that because Diddy asked for a quick trial, it had any
Yeah.
effect on this trial whatsoever. If that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I
Yes.
did believe that. Yeah,
Well, that's
That's
what his
exactly what
own
happened.
attorney was arguing yesterday, that they didn't have enough time to prepare everything.
Who didn't?
yeah, but they're the ones that wanted a quick trial.
That's what
I-
the defense was saying to the judge, that they didn't, there was other evidence that they could have presented, they just didn't have time to do it. Well, it
Well, they
wasn't
should have done.
the court's fault, it wasn't prosecution's fault. Diddy's
Yeah.
the one who said he wanted a quick trial.
Yeah,
Oh,
Interesting.
and for some strange reason, they did that for him.
So
Yeah,
Then
well, money, isn't it?
so what we're saying here is,
Mm.
right, is that you guys believe that there's evidence that supports Diddy's requesting of a quick trial, which to me just
Mm.
reeks of cabal backhander
Yeah.
shenanigans.
Absolutely.
I
Right?
agree. Yeah.
In order
Oh no, you've
to,
lost your co-host, Ron.
I know it's all right. No, she was. No, I just asked Mum to bring a toy through, but then Mum's got bored now because she's not had
Oh, bless
Nova there for
her.
20 minutes and is now
She
taking it
was
back.
a great
Oh,
co-host.
adorable.
Like, Dad,
Look at
Dad,
her. She's like,
Hey,
I
Dad.
want to be on TV.
Nova,
I want to do what Daddy does.
Oh my gosh.
Nova, make
Oh, look
baby.
at her.
yeah,
Bless
she's
her.
freaking adorable, man. Like,
Oh,
She's
so
too cute and
thanks,
it's
babe.
cuddles.
she is, doesn't she? Look
yeah,
at
she's
her.
Bless her.
she just wants to chill out, right, and have her say. Like she'll
She
quit.
Can
wants
I just make one observation, Ron?
Yeah.
Right now, it looked like Nova had a better seat than you
Oh,
during
of course
this
she does.
live. Just saying.
She's got multiple better seats. She's got like 3 beds. Like she's
Oh, bless her.
she's got everything she freaking needs. Like the
How gorgeous
like,
is she?
listen, this
Looking
is.
in the mirror, it looked like you were sat on a table.
Do you want to hear the most first time grandmother story ever? Right. So
Yeah.
first time grandmother, I want to buy the
Yeah.
pram. Okay. And I swear to
Yeah.
God, this was a 4-figure. This was 4 numbers in the price of this pram.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Like
aye,
I know people who have had cars for 2 years that they did
Yeah.
not pay the same amount of this pram. Okay. Like it is the Rolls Royce of prams. It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
But man, as soon as you get onto like kid 2 or 3, it is like straight on to Facebook freaking market and which mum
Yeah.
is getting rid of a pram.
That's
that
it
they've had
again, a
for
little
year,
phone.
right? I was too scared to touch this pram. I went and got a Facebook market pram, like dad pram. Do you know what I'm saying? Because also it's in cream, ladies.
Oh,
Yes, dirty.
Oh, bad news.
Like, I was just going to say, spot the first time mum and grandmum. They come back with
Exactly.
the cream. I swear to God, though, it is spotless, right?
Oh,
What's
wow.
that?
Well
Because
done.
she's not a toddler yet. Okay,
Yeah.
how much
There's
mess
still
can I
plenty of time.
The only thing that comes out of her is drool. It's not like we're feeding her in the pram. But man, wait until she's a toddler.
Ron, she takes after you.
Wait,
TC's coming.
yeah, wait
That's it.
until she gets those. You know those like fluorescent green snots that come out of like
Oh,
that come out of like
right.
4-year-olds, and they do this with their sleeve.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That'll be you with
Yeah.
the tissues.
I've been there, man. Nora,
Not
my other daughter, for about a year, you were just attached to her with a tissue. Just attached to her with a
Oh,
tissue. man.
bless.
Like,
Snot bubbles are the worst.
oh
Ah.
man, it's just if you're new to having children and your child hasn't yet gone to nursery or kindergarten, good luck.
Yeah.
You are going to
Yeah.
spend the next 2 years getting all the new germs. Okay. All the new germs that you would never have. Do you know how many? Do you know you can only catch a cold once, right? And then it's a new type of cold that you catch the next time you catch a cold.
Oh,
Oh
very.
man,
Yeah.
wait!
Yes,
Just
what's
you
the matter?
wait, man. Just
wait till she
you
has ice cream in the pram.
Oh,
Yeah.
Anything to do with
chocolate.
kids being at
Yeah.
school, nursery, or whatever, are constant germs.
Yeah, I feed her.
Yeah.
I've been feeding her stuff that she shouldn't. Like, obviously, I'm a man. As soon as you come out the womb, you can have ice cream. Okay, that's me. My brain. Thinks. Not a lot of ice cream.
Typical one.
Not a lot of ice cream. Like a tiny amount of ice cream. But you're not going to. The hospital's not going to tell me that my kid can't have some Haagen-Dazs. Okay, it's basically frozen boob milk.
The best of ice cream.
I thought you were
Oh,
going to
my.
say haggis there.
Yeah.
Oh, big homie will be getting
Haagen-Dazs.
his first taste of haggis in the next couple of weeks. He should be coming to pay me a visit.
Oh, is he coming over?
He's here.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
here,
here.
that's right.
Oh yes.
Yeah. He's
Oh,
left
aye.
the he's left the USA.
Is he
Yeah.
coming up to Scotland then?
Yeah, he will be.
Oh,
Wow.
fabulous.
Well,
You better take him out and show him the
He
site.
was on Piers
Get him on the
Morgan.
buck fast, Ron. Get him on the
Get
buck
him on the buck fast, Ron.
What's the breakfast?
Do you know what, Kaz? Do you know what? Right.
What's the breakfast?
That's take big homie camping, and then we'll just get off our nuts on frickin' buck fast.
Oh, Fuck
Oh,
her.
dear.
Yeah,
I'm coming over.
yeah, I wouldn't want to take
That's funny.
big homie out in public in Scotland off his nut for the first time on Buckfast. Nah, someone will say something to him, and then someone. Do you know what? You know when like you hear the stories of Chewbacca ripping off people's arms in Star Wars? That's what I
Yeah.
imagine. That's kind of he just goes "Brrrr," and out come the arms at the socket, just up and gonzo. Okay, listen, I'm waffling nonsense. So let me start. Let's go Lady Kate, and then we'll go Lady Kate, Pam, Cheyenne, and then back up, and then to Uber, and then back up to the top with Cats and Casimir. I want to give Lady Cat the first shout here. So
Yeah.
why don't we each take it in turns to sort of give the key points that stuck out in our head from the Diddy case, that maybe the parts of the evidence where you felt this should have rang true and came with a conviction or whatever. I have actually got the full case breakdown from our wonderful ChatGPT assistant. And it's kind of messed up. Oh, also, we're going to talk about this after for the sort of last 10 minutes of the show once we're done with the Diddy stuff. And it is that 145 people at a music festival were reported to have been pricked with syringes. All of them women.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yes.
All of them women, and all of them being targeted. Now,
Where was this?
Now, I just want to go through some things with you. Do you know what pillaging and R-ing was about in the Viking era or in history? Why we pillaged and R-ed? Do you know why we did that? Do you know why? Do you know why? Do you know what happened to the Sicilians? Which is part of Italy. So there is blonde-haired, blue-eyed Italians, and there is dark-skinned, dark-haired, dark-eyed Italians. And one part of Italy was invaded and was pillaged and R-ed by a country that is got brown eyes and brown hair and dark skin. And the reason that you pillage and R is to eradicate the bloodlines, to wipe out a civilization, to impregnate with culturally, basically to destroy the whole bloodline, right? So that it changes a nation, and we've seen it, right? What was my point in this? Okay, yeah. So
is it satanic?
No, it's not satanic, Pam. It's just the spoils of war, mate. We just hadn't evolved to a point where we were like, oh, actually, we should probably stop doing this. It's a bit of an ick.
Conquerors. It was all the conquistadors, isn't it? Conqueror times.
Yes. Maybe that's where I'm getting this from. Maybe that's where I'm getting this from, Lobo. So is this going to be the new modern format of that? Are we just going to start pricking people with frickin' the AIDS or HIV or something else? I mean, there is a cult. We've all heard the urban rumor of the guy who went out and felt a prick in his shoulder and then came back and is welcome to the AIDS family and all of this.
Oh my God, yeah, I've heard a few stories.
How are we doing, Stacey? Yes. Big shout out to Stacey. Hope you're doing very, very well this morning. Because my dad's brown-haired, brown-eyed Italian. I'm half Italian, but I'm blue-eyed, blonde hair. My mum, all her family, dark hair. I'm the oddity. And all of my children are blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids. All of them. Everyone.
Oh, okay.
Stacey was trying to get in here with us.
Oh, Stacey was. Yeah, Stacey. I'll keep an eye out for her. I'll drag her in. Apologies, Stacey.
Just join the waiting room.
Yeah, she will do.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll get her. I just didn't see her coming in, so apologies, Stacey, if you've been waiting. Anyway, okay, so back to this point, right? Are we now going to see a new attack upon our women, open inverted commas, our women, by creating a generation that they are going to increase the terrible STDs, the ones that penicillin can't do away with, and or you can't have the things
super gonorrhea,
gonorrhea. Yeah, you can't have them burnt off. Penicillin ain't going to do anything. Are we going to see bioterrorism up to the next level? Because I'll tell you this right now, it's kind of easy to get something like that snuck around. Have a look at how many novelty keychains could have the first part of a syringe on it, and then it's just a case of pushing in fact, you never mind. We're not going to give people hints on how to do this, but it's not.
Don't have ideas.
I was just about to say
it's not exactly.
This happened in France. It happened in Paris. It was a music festival.
Yeah. I heard
145 people.
Yep, and isn't it
That's
very interesting
mad.
that France is one of the first Christian nations that gave up its Christian sovereignty for another religion?
Really?
France is no longer a Christian country, you know. And I just
Revolution.
want to say to
Okay.
everyone, the countries like France,
Mm.
we have to look at why it's a problem for us in our culture to have large families. Okay. Because if you've got one particular demographic who are having 9 children per family and another demographic who are having 3/4 of a child per family, why would a country be listening to the minority anymore? They're going to listen to the majority. And if we are going to start seeing an increase in attacks on women, creating women who can no longer have children, what a brilliant system that is for evil. I mean, come on.
For evil, yeah, it is, but
100%. Right, listen, what I'm going to do, ladies, is I'm going to let Lady Kate start. I'm going to go and put the second Ron back on the screen so that I can listen to you. Oh no, I figured this out yesterday. I just joined Discord on here. That's what I do. So hang on a second. Let me see if we can figure this out. So we're in the call-ins.
Host is back.
So if we go in here
Come on, Nova. Sort it out for your dad.
and then I join. Can you all hear me on Discord? Ah, right, but then no one can hear us on the chat now. Hang on. So say something again, ladies. Oh no, Ron's broke it. Oh no, it's because Ron's not in the chat. Right, Ron needs to be in this chat. Okay, so then we need to go back to yesterday's way where we bring up the stuff on the screen. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all right, don't worry. So that means that I need to leave this all on and go through to the other room, then put this on, otherwise you'll get the double sound. So I'm gonna what am I gonna do? Actually, can
Go
I
to the other room.
hang on, just bear with
Now,
me.
what is it you want us to do?
I would like you, Lady Kate, to just talk about any of the points that stick out in your mind. Oh, hang on. That stick out in your mind from the Diddy case, and if there's anything that you thought was going to be, you know, completely sort of easy peasy to have got a conviction on, talk about that. Just talk about the moments that stick out in your brain and the parts that you felt would have been strong evidence. And we'll go Lady Kate, Pamela, Cheyenne, Uber, Katz, Kaza, and start with you, Lady Kate.
Okay.
LG is saying they can't hear us.
They
can only hear Ron.
So, yeah, can you make sure, ladies? Can you just count to 5 for me?
1, 2,
1, 2,
5.
3, 4, 5.
None of you can hear those ladies counting to 5. Is that what you're saying? Because I would say that that is shenanigans that you're talking.
KLG is saying that she can hear
Can hear
me,
you all now.
but not
All
Discord.
right, that was earlier. Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. Right. Okay. So I'm going to go through to the kitchen. Lady Cat, you start talking, and I'll be able to hear you, but not say anything in the kitchen. Yay!
Okay.
I'll just be 2 minutes. I'm just going to go and feed my disgusting addiction out the window.
Get out the back.
As far as the RICO, I believed that they had proved it, not necessarily on what they were trying to go for with the ST, but the forced labor, coercion definitely was expressed by several people. It's not like these people got together and made up this story. But all they needed was 2 of the predicates to get him on RICO. So that's why I said I don't think that they really understood how to apply the law to the individual predicate options. A re-instruction like the prosecution had asked for would have likely given them a fresh reference to utilizing the law and applying it to those predicates. As far as the prosecution coming up with the 4 to 5 years as a recommendation, there was talk earlier on Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, and early yesterday morning that there was a plea deal going on for his sentence.
Yeah.
So it made me wonder what is the information that we don't know that was present in that plea request or
There's a
plea
lot going on.
offer. So I think that's where Stacy and I came up with the thought that they could pursue something down the line, that there's more to it, not in the same charge that they applied now, but like the weapons, like the financial status, maybe there's financial crimes involved, and there are other options to pursue if they choose to move forward. They do have whoever the rest of that list of 125 witnesses was that they may end up finding something through. Yesterday, though, with them not accepting the judge's decision to deny bail, yes, you can argue up and down, but all the excuses that the defense was thrown out yesterday were all null and void because they did it to themselves. And when they said they didn't have enough time, well, first of all, they thought the trial was going to go 2 to 3 months. If they had an option of presenting something, obviously Diddy wasn't going to get up there and perhaps incriminate himself.
Yep.
And they couldn't get any witnesses to stand up for him. So to use not enough time for preparation, that's Diddy's own fault. That's not the court's fault, not the prosecution's fault. That was Diddy who wanted to move it up, because when they were talking about setting the date for the trial, the prosecution was amenable to setting a date for this September, and defense on Diddy's behalf said no, he wants a speedy trial. So that's again their fault for not having time to prepare, that they were using as an excuse. And then when the judge had mentioned that he failed to prove that he was not a violent person or a flight risk.
All right, I'm back.
And they said they objected to it and said no. And the judge said, you said it yourself in closing arguments. You admitted that he was a violent person. So to anybody, that would indicate that he poses a threat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whether it's
the point you raised there about the 125 witnesses, that's another interesting one when we get into the I want a quick trial and he was given one argument, because 125 witnesses is a lot of people to get through.
exactly.
And if we were talking, do you remember when we were talking about the terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of information that the FBI
96 terabytes.
Do you know how much 96 terabytes is? Like,
no idea.
Like
so,
8,000 pieces of paper.
So, like, how on the panel here has got an iPhone?
I do.
How many gigabytes is your iPhone?
Mine is quite high.
64, 128?
No,
It's
mine's more than
128.
that.
Wait.
The next one after 128 I've got.
Okay. So, if any of you
It's just like 500 or something.
give me a number. Oh, God. Let's just Google it. You're all just... Right, iPhone 16.
5,400.
400. Is that how much they go up to now? 400? So let's have a look.
No.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I was just joking.
I can tell you in just a moment. Let me go into.
Let's say random.
It's all right. Yeah. Okay. So 50. Oh, that's data. Because you guys, the whole iPhone not taking SD cards is wild. So let's go with Oh, here we go. 250. Okay, so we can get a terabyte capacity iPhone now. Okay, so
Yeah.
that would be 960 terabyte iPhones, or 1800 512 gig iPhones, or 32,000 quarter of a gigabyte, 256 gig quarter of a terabyte iPhones. It is a massive amount of information. Like, it is, like, for example, this live stream will probably be 1 gigabyte of information as a save file, you know,
Right.
just to show you the sheer amount of everything that is. And that's just based off of the digital era. Like, Diddy's crimes supersede this technology. So, you know, somewhere there's bucket loads of VHSs kicking about, or those weird little
Yeah.
micro tapes or something. It's
Yeah.
the amount of information on hard drives is overwhelming. But where's all the pre-digital era evidence? Where's all of that? You know?
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, if they admit to having that, there ain't no decrypting that. They're just sticking it in a VHS.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that's a really good point, Kat, about the 125 witnesses. I think this whole case is going to be many people's dissertations for their degrees on how this whole case was handled.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
because I'll tell you now, in a world where law cases are quoted before a new case starts in reference to how this case could go, this sets a precedence that if you are the next Diddy, you can demand a quick trial, you can rush through this, you can put forward an argument that there wasn't enough time for whatever Kat was, she said yesterday about the jury not being prepped enough. And it's a dangerous precedence. It really is.
It is.
Oh yeah, come on. There's Stacey. There she is. Sorry, Stacey. I just missed you. I totally missed you the first time, Stacey.
You made it,
I
Stacey.
apologize. So, Stacey, we're kind of talking about key moments that stuck out in our mind, and I will circle back to you. I'm gonna keep the order that we were in, but I just wanted to say hello to you straight off the bat. And Kat, you raised some good points there, but Pamela Lamb. What sticks out for you? What were the moments that you thought got him, if there was any, and what's your sort of reaction to where we're at just now with it all?
I just think the whole Rico thing, I do, even though people are saying, yeah, there was evidence of Rico, I just feel that, you know what, they needed something a lot more stronger. Like I said yesterday, it was like with the we can't say DRUGS, yeah. With the Ds, I call them Ds. With that, it was like, you know, when, for example, they caught the drug mule.
Yep.
And, you know, I thought like it was a case of they found drugs on him, but they found a large amount, because that's what I was just assuming, that it's not going to just be a very, very small amount that's going to be like that you can just put in your pocket. I thought that it would be, and I think this is where the jurors were also confused, because with that, for example, that was a very small amount.
Yeah,
So
but
that, so a lot of the time they're not going to think that that's,
but
that's kind of like a Rico.
That's naivety and understanding the criminal
Yeah.
pyramid. No one at the top of the pyramid is carrying any of the stuff. If you're carrying stuff, it's a handful that you're sticking in your pocket and you're getting caught with personal use. No one at the top of the pyramid is getting close to the kilos or anything like that.
No, their hands are clean at all times.
And it almost seems like a very well-oiled machine, right, Pam? Like, I mean,
I just think that they could have done a lot more. Also, with the S trafficking, the same thing. They were just using, for example, the girlfriends, Cassie and Jane Doe, and anybody else, where he was, you know, he was getting them to maybe go places and give somebody the DRUGs or bring something back, for example, So I thought that with the S trafficking, they would have more women that had been trafficked to show that it is happening. When they were just using the girlfriends, I mean, what went wrong was when they watched the freak off videos and the what was the other thing? You know, when when they were watching the freak off videos, I don't know if they took into account the fact that the girls were most probably very high on whatever they had been given or taken. And maybe on the videos, it didn't look like they didn't want to do it. Do you know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying? Kind of thing. But so they had that, and then also with the text messages, they were showing that, you know, the girlfriends, they were doing all these things for Diddy. I think just so that they could be with him, just so that he would choose them to be like his long-term girlfriend. I think they were trying to impress him. I do believe that a lot of things that happened was he was just saying to people, "Oh, can you take this here?" So, for example, his assistant, he could have given his assistant some DRU
Shimshams. Yeah.
PS, yeah. He could have given his assistant and just, "Oh, could you just take it there?" And then,
Oh yeah, 100%.
do you know what I'm saying? So, like,
and
it could have been that he was doing all this stuff, getting people to do things for him, but they're not
100%.
realizing.
Yeah, 100. If I turn
that
around to
that-
you, Pam, and say, "Here's 2 bottles of frickin' prosecco. Go and take them through for you and your girls," you're
Yeah.
totally not knowing my evil plot. If you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I can totally agree.
That's what I mean.
But I think again, it's testament to how well oiled this alleged machine was. For sure, 100%, Pam. And it's kind of shocking. But you got to remember as well, when has the courts in any country ever favored women on substances having a good time with their clothes off? Never. The courts ain't favoring that, because apparently they're still in the 16th century where women aren't allowed to just do whatever they feel comfortable doing with. And if some horrible man takes advantage of that, you're screwed.
And that's almost like they were saying that they were just like S workers. That was it. Do you know what I mean? Like they were forgetting the fact that everything else that the women had been through. I think afterwards it was a case of, well, they were just sex workers and that was it, and they were enjoying themselves. So they didn't feel that they were being coerced. They didn't feel that they were being forced to do anything. And also the text messages when they were saying, "Oh, you know, Cassie was saying, oh, I can't wait to do this." You know, that could have confused the jurors as well, thinking, well, these women are saying that they've been
hard
abused.
Yeah,
that they've been abused, but they're looking at it thinking, well, no, it looks like they're enjoying themselves, they're having a good time.
Oh
you know, and I think they just complicated it a bit. I just thought that they should have had more people, not just the girlfriends, talking about the Rico part. There must have been other people that they were that he was, you know.
If you've got 125 witnesses to a case,
you
call 125 witnesses. But in saying that, right? Like, if this was if this was me, if I was Diddy, right? And this was like the wish.com version of this trial, I'm going to jail forever. Like, I am going to jail forever and ever and ever. It's just crazy. It really is, Pam. But look, thank you. Listen, Cheyenne, where are you sitting on all this? What sticks out for you? What's your reaction to all?
My position on this is I wholeheartedly believe that he has done some other alliance with the feds to give up bigger people, bigger names.
That's a juicy one, Cheyenne. We've not had that one yet. So,
because for all of the evidence that they had, to then suddenly it evaporate and him be found not guilty. And there was so many times that the prosecutors absolutely annihilated Diddy in the court case, but then nothing came of it. There is 100% more coming. And I think the 125 witnesses was to basically put the prosecution on the back foot, thinking, oh my goodness, we need to get prepared for all these witnesses. which then meant that it was taking up time from other things. But I wholeheartedly believe there is another deal under the table with the feds, and that's why this has come to this outrageous outcome.
Yeah, I could fully get behind that fully. That he's taking a deal behind the scenes, that there's bigger fish that he's going to take down. But the only thing that stops that theory in its tracks for me is money. The economy of Hollywood. Like, if we start taking down like that creepy dude that runs all the music industry, right? What happens then? Like how powerful are these people? Because I think Cheyenne, that's a really good point, that we could be seeing a deal under the table with Diddy. But do you think he would have taken a deal that secured him in just 20 years? I think he would have just been, but in saying that, he threatened somebody with 400 years or 20 years.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just don't understand. It's so confusing. We were so sure about all of this, and
with all the evidence that they had, for it to come back this way, there is no other reasonable explanation.
Do you think that podcasts and crazy witnesses and people that are here for the clout or just to try and get a bag or, you know, change scenarios in their head years later affected any of this outcome? Do you think there was any impact from public opinion? Because for me, public opinion was basically like throw away the key on this guy.
Yeah. But you've got to remember the jury weren't allowed to know any of that. They had to base their verdicts solely on the evidence provided in court.
Do you think anyone actually does that though?
Hello.
Like, really?
I just,
If I'm part of the
it's
Diddy
hard
jury,
to say that you would not see it.
listen, all I'm saying is I would have been the most awkward jury member. I would still be there like, nah, guilty. I'll sit here all
I
day.
would.
I'm getting my wages paid. You're buying my lunch every day. There's air conditioning in this room, right? I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good. Because I wouldn't be swaying, and I certainly wouldn't be giving a rat's ass about the evidence. I'd be going off book. I'd be like, in my opinion, 50 years. Let's go. Bang him up.
Yeah.
I don't know. KLG's asked a good question. Do you think the jury were too scared to say he was guilty in fear for their lives? Maybe.
I've already said this before, that I wholeheartedly believe that witnesses, jurors, anybody, friends, all of them are scared to death of what could potentially happen as a
because if
result of his.
If all of you ladies are right, and Diddy demanded a quick trial and he got it, and he's possibly made a deal under the table, every single person on that jury must have an element of just papping themselves, because you don't even have to know Hollywood. You just have to watch some of the movies to understand how a mafiosa mindset works. So yeah, I think good point, Cheyenne. Okay, Stacey, how are you? Welcome back. Where are you in all this? I imagine you are like, I've got 14 pages of notes on this, Ron, and I'm about to unload. So where are you at with it?
More than that. I have definitely more than 14 pages of notes, but it's a very disappointing verdict. There's a lot of things that went wrong. You know, for one, like we all mentioned, the evidence was there. We all saw how guilty he was of these things. To most people, it was very clear what he did and how he even got in this position. The one thing that went wrong is that the girlfriends, quote unquote, still think that they were girlfriends to him. And if Cassie or Jane were to say, you know, I thought I was his girlfriend, but I realized that I was just a slave to him. And I kept trying to escape. If they said those words in court, that would ring differently to the jurors.
Absolutely.
That, you know, because of the fact that they kept referring to themselves as girlfriends, I think that's why the jurors still had a problem with the trafficking situation
Yeah.
and felt torn between, well, you're his girlfriend, you know, you did some of this willingly, but if they were to come out and say, you know, I got involved with him because I thought we were in a relationship, and very quickly on, I realized we're not in a relationship. I'm just his toy to be utilized. You know, that would be a different, you know, that would impact their mental train of thought. Two, I do think and agree that some jurors may have been scared, mostly the younger jurors. I don't think that the older jurors were scared of Puff because they're older and mature and like, you know, who the heck is he? But we also have an issue with the possibility that Diddy could have said to the feds, listen, I'll bite the bullet, I'll do some time. If you know, cut me a break, I'll give up the names of certain people. And one of them being Clive Davis, which is, you know, the head of the music industry. You know, the music industry is not going to go down without him. Let's be honest. The music industry has been transforming ever since Apple Music and Spotify and all these different platforms have been created. A lot of artists are able to go independent.
Correct.
And release their music. They don't necessarily
I'll be
need
honest with
record
you.
deals anymore.
I'll be honest with you.
Absolutely.
What was the last thing we all heard anything to do with Diddy before the Diddy case?
Right, exactly.
Like other
I
than
had no idea.
other than him changing his name for the 10th time and bringing out a new
To
perfume.
love.
Like,
Yeah,
other,
love,
other,
yeah.
other
We
than
didn't see
that,
any music.
what has he actually done? So is that not testament to the argument then that he is more powerful than we think, because he's now managed to sort of pull himself into the dark corners of production rather than being the face of the music? Because behind the scenes is, funnily enough, where the individuals are that we say are running all of this. They're the ones behind the scenes. They're the faceless ones.
Oh yeah, the ones at the front are not the ones that are the ones in control or in power. They're just the ones that are basically in line if anything goes wrong.
Yeah,
the real power is hidden.
I'm with you. But anyway, Stacey, get back to your point. Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, I think the jurors also did not have a clear understanding of the predicates and how that works.
Okay.
I think this is my perception based off of how they ruled this, is that they thought that they were charging him with these things. I don't think they realized that, no, these are requirements that need to be met in order to charge him with the RICO. Because if they understood that, then he would have gotten the RICO. If, you know, I think they may have thought, well, we're charging him with arson, we're charging him with extortion, with bribery, with all these other things. You know, I don't think they realized that they just needed the two requirements in order to get this one charge. And I think they misinterpreted the requirements. And
definitely,
you know, it's pretty evident.
What does that?
We all can
Where does
agree
that
that they
leave
got
us?
it wrong.
Where does that leave us, Stace, in 2025? That basically some laws and some trials are so complicated that we don't have people capable of understanding the finite sort of layers of it all. I mean, it seems to me like, are we okay with all people too stupid now? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the hard part is the government can't do IQ tests on jurors before they pick them, you know? But there does need to be a level of understanding of the law in order to do your due diligence as a juror. You know, if you don't understand the law, to some degree, you don't need to be a lawyer, but you need to be able to understand how it works in order to make a solid decision. And, you know, it's kind of like, how do you police that? How do you control that to make
Mhm.
sure that the right thing is done when it comes down to getting a verdict? This is
Yeah.
an example of how the wrong things were done and the wrong verdict was executed. And you can tell that the wrong verdict was executed. It's not just public opinion by the fact that the judge was not having any nonsense yesterday. He did not give any leeway on the bail. He did not give any sympathy when Agnifilo was like, oh, the kids are here. They don't have a mother, blah, 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 played the sympathy card. And the judge was like, the bail is denied. Screw you, get out of my courtroom. The next time we see each other, it's to schedule the sentencing. Like the judge was pissed because he knew it was wrong. And if the judge goes to people higher up than him in the courts and says, listen, I think the jurors got this wrong. I want to be able to use my power to get it right. What is the right way to go about it? Because judges can nullify the juror's verdict. They can. If they feel strongly and know that in an appeal process or a mistrial application that it will still hold, that a judge nullified a verdict, they will do it. Now,
Okay.
there lies the problem, is can the judge get the proper backup from the appellate court to nullify the verdict? And I think that's why he probably originally wanted a 3-month time frame before the sentencing hearing, because he probably wanted to do his due diligence to see how he's going to handle this, if he should nullify them or just take the easier route and just close the book on him, give him the max sentence for the 2 charges that he got, and that would be 20 years.
Yeah, but do you think at this stage we're going to see that level of conviction? We're going to see
I think the judge is pissed off enough to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
The judge, you have to remember, as we've gone through this trial, we've seen many examples of the judge intervening, putting Agnifilo and his team in their place, calling out their nonsense, and he probably could have gone even harder on them. But he has stopped them in their tracks. He saw what they were trying to do, and he did not like it. He saw Diddy for who he was, and he was very stern when he needed to be, and in a way where Diddy's team couldn't come back and say they had an unfair trial. They
Interesting.
weren't able to properly defend their client and blah blah blah.
So we could argue then that the judge has cottoned on to the shenanigans that's been going on and has put his foot down for it all. That's really interesting, because I think then if you're right on that, then Stace, I would put all my chips on him getting slammed with the maximum sentence that you can get. If the judge has been showing signs of this is absolutely all shenanigans, 100% we can expect the book to be thrown at him then. Do you not think?
Yep. Well, I think I'm going to be right, because by the way the judge acted yesterday, that tells you where his mind is at. Now, most people, when they're convicted of the prostitution charges, they are able to get bail and be let out until their sentencing. But the fact that the judge said, you know what, this is not right, I can't let this man get out. He listened to the letters that not only came in from both sides, but there were letters from Cassie's attorney and from other people that came in saying he is a danger to the victims and to the witnesses that testified, and he's a danger to the public. You cannot let this man free. I think the judge knew that the verdict was wrong and that the jurors got it. The jurors made a mistake, okay? And he knew he's guilty as heck. He should have gotten the guilty verdict on everything. And he could not let him go free based off the fact that it was, he was a real threat to people.
Yep.
And when when the judge said no to the bail, not only once, but a couple of times in the courtroom yesterday, that goes to show he is not giving any sympathy to him. And that's why I think he's going to go hard on the sentencing. I think he's going to give him the max because he doesn't care Diddy has kids. By the way, 6 out of 7 of them are adults.
Yep.
Okay. He doesn't care that, Diddy already was in there for the past, 9-10 months. He doesn't care, that typically they let people out on bail for the charges that he remained convicted of. He cares about what's right, and he knows what's right, and he's doing what he can in his power to make things right.
Interesting. And I think that's a good place to put a pin in it for you there, Stacey. That's a really good breakdown of that. I don't know, is Uber, are you still in here, Uber? I can't see you. Yeah, Uber, you are here. What's happening, brother?
What's happening, Jay? You good?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Where are you sitting with the Diddy case?
Well, look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know that much about the case because I really don't. All I can go by is statement analysis and the behavior. And I did see something yesterday. The Punisher, the guy that whose evidence was apparently pivotal. When I watched Cassie Ventura giving her evidence, there were so many indicators in her linguistics that just I didn't believe everything she said. And I don't think people are giving the jury enough credit here. They're not stupid. And I think they've seen through a lot of the embellishment. She's a victim. There's no doubt about that. And any creature that is willing to give a woman a beating like that is just a spineless piece of scum. And I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
So, she's a victim and she had the guts to get up and stand up in court and give evidence. However, there are so many things that she said that just do not sit right with me. And, as the Punisher said, when I sat and watched him on Piers Morgan, I believed him. I actually believed him. I didn't see anything there that tells me that he's making anything up. And I think the jury simply saw through a lot of the embellishment and garnished extra stories that were put into the evidence. And I think it's unfortunate because I think if they'd have just stuck to the facts, the jury is not stupid. You're not going to get. They pick their juries over there. We don't do it over here. We just give people, jury service.
Yeah.
So they actually pick their jury specifically over there. They do it very, very differently. And I don't think the jury is stupid. And I think they saw through an awful lot of rubbish that was also added to the evidence.
Nice.
And I just think it's unfortunate that had to happen.
Yeah. All right. A good take there as well, Uber.
What I did find quite disgusting though, was people playing the race card and saying there should have been more black women on the jury. The color of the skin has got no relevance or no place in this case or any other case. It should not matter the color of your skin. And it should matter that you have a decent moral compass. That's it.
Nah, I would have been quite happy with a bunch of other black women on the trial, to be perfectly honest, especially if all of them had real hatred towards men and the music industry. I think that would have made it a much fairer trial. But I'm a bit cynical, Uber, but I agree with everything you're saying there, mate, 100%. So cheers for your input, brother. Cats, welcome. How are you?
Hi, thank you. I'm really good. How are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for letting me be on here.
Very, very welcome. You're very, very welcome. So, how is this wonderful turd sandwich settled with you? Where are you with this?
Disheartened, disillusioned.
Yeah.
What's the message it's going to send to women in the future? But I'll tell you what, I've admired a lot of strong ladies in this. Very, very brave, very tough. And we've gone from like the victim, the word victim, to survivor, and then we've gone to thriver. So I look at Cassie, and she met a guy, she had children, and she was pregnant, during the trial.
But I mean,
Can you imagine?
Cassie, 100%. But I mean, at what point do we stop laying all this praise on Cassie? You took the bag, you kept your mouth shut for 15 years, you let a whole bunch of atrocities fall out in the laps of other victims. Like, at some point, we need to just be like, right, ladies, this is a horrible thing that's happening. But if you all keep your mouth shut for close to 20 years, how are we not creating more victims here?
I understand what you mean. I do get what you mean. But the thing is, for a woman in abuse, right, I feel, my opinion is, it's the lesser of two evils, isn't it? If you're stuck in a vortex of hell in abuse, do you talk? Do you not talk?
Are you stuck in a vortex of hell, though, Kat? I mean, multiple text messages. No. I mean, I'm talking about Cassie. We've got multiple.
Being empathetic to the woman,
100%. I'm empathetic to the one thing we can prove, which was that she was seriously under horrible abuse, judging by that video. But I mean, I've seen plenty of evidence where I could argue, 100%, she was down for all these freak off parties, 100%.
I mean, the substances, coercion, fear of death. Sorry, unaliving.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there too. But who says that our life was in danger? Who says any of this? Who can we prove? Like, where's the proof of all of it? I mean, obviously the violent act 100% backs up what you're saying. I don't believe the points that I'm putting across, but I think it's important that we sort of ask the tough questions with regards to how do we avoid this happening again? And
we need to look at the social programming, the mind control, don't we?
Correct.
Yeah. Because look at American psyche with, Hollywood and the music industry and all the connections and JE and...
Well, it's not even that. I'm frustrated with society as a whole. Why are we living in a world where there's not a system in place for women or victims of any age or sex or whatever to not feel like they're the freaking ones on trial when they report these crimes? Like,
this is what I mean. Going back to, you're sitting in an abusive relationship, right? Do you try and get out and leave, and then face what? What do you face if you leave? If you decided to leave, if you had the guts to leave, if you had the support to leave, where are you going to go?
Right.
Who are you going to go to?
Right. It's an absolute cluster mess. The whole, because even when we get down to the whole situation of what we're talking about now, of, well, why didn't they report it? To who? To where? To the same
who can you trust?
To the same
down
people.
To trust.
Yeah, to the same people that the last 20 million women have reported it to and gotten nowhere. This is the problem. When 14%, when 14% of our victims come forward, 14%, that's 14 out of 100, right? And then less than 1% of them get a conviction. What is the point? Like, and I'm sorry to say, what is the point on something so serious as but if I was a woman and I thought to myself, I'm going to be pulled apart in court, they're going to ask me about Wendy's freaking hen do in 2018, where I put on the mankini and kissed the stripper, right? Like, why is this such a double standard? Is it an effect?
Well, the victim's put on trial. The victim is put on trial.
Yeah, I think it's
all the fingers point to the woman. The woman is demonized.
Yeah, do you know why that
real
is?
problem?
Do you know why
real
that is?
Modern age problem?
Yeah, do you know why that is, Kat? Shitload of women lie.
We're dangerous, aren't we?
No,
clearly dangerous. We need to be arrested.
Yeah, you actually are. Yeah, I agree. You actually are dangerous. And the damage that women can have with false accusations and lying and remembering things 10 years later.
How many of them are falsely reporting? What's the stats on the false accusations? Come on, what woman would want to put herself through that?
I know more men. I know more men in my life than men that I don't know in my life who've had false accusations put against them.
Yeah, it happens.
It does.
It has
I'm not
happened
denying it.
to the majority of men I know. So my experience with this world is I know very few people that are in my friend group in the real world who are victims of R, but I have a majority of male friends who've had false accusations about them. So my impression of all of this is women lie.
No,
I get that, Ron.
How
No.
messed
I'll
up
tell
is
you.
that? How messed up is that?
I got it.
You're
How
Men lie in the
messed
Bible.
up is
you're
that?
saying all women lie.
No,
But then so do men.
I never said all women lie. Jesus
What
Christ.
did you say? What did you say?
I said women lie.
Okay, women lie.
Okay. And
But
this is
still,
the
Can you
problem.
guys
This
hear
is the problem, right? For someone like me to turn around and say that is so messed up. And it's not an argument I stand by. I just want to point that out. I fully stand beside the victims, right? But you could argue that. You could argue that case that if the perception of society is that my opinions are, I know men who've had more false allegations than I have met real world survivors. This is a huge, huge issue, right? When we have,
Is that really your experience, Ron?
Listen, when it comes to people online, no. When it comes to people online, no. Like if I look at my online community, men are pretty much scum, right? Basically, that's the reality.
Not men.
No, listen, men. Listen, man.
Some men.
Just everyone that's triggered in chat right now. Ron's cooking and we're going somewhere. So just just relax, okay? So for me to have that impression, because that is my experience, none of you can tell me I'm wrong. None of you can say, oh no, you're wrong. You're not. None of you can, because that is my real world impression. I've had false accusations. Friends of mine have had false accusations, and they're thrown around like it's funny. Right?
Wow.
It's really not
That's
funny.
Really
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's disgusting that people do that.
It is, and we've got a case right now in Australia with a YouTuber called Young Philly, right? And due to Australian laws, he's been accused of R and SA, and because of the Australian laws, he can't leave Australia. He's been there for a year. We're about to see the outcome of this trial, but his career's done. He's done. Like he lost all his sponsors. And I'm not saying, feel sorry for if he is a monster, but we have to always ask ourselves, sadly, in this day and age, what are we looking at here? Because
Ron, can I hark back to talking about the Diddy trial? Can I hark back to the OJ case? I know it's a completely different charge, obviously with the unaliving of Nicole Brown and partner Ron Perlman, but. I'm trying to think where I was going with that. I was going with that with something, but I'm trying to think.
But that's a great
regardless of whether OJ was guilty or not, he was set up as the perp, wasn't he?
Oh no, I'm pretty sure OJ was guilty, right?
I mean, or not, he got off, and then he carried on raising their children and they live a quiet life allegedly now. But the fact of the matter is, a woman's lost her life with her partner in a very gruesome way, and that no one's been held account for that.
I just want to see.
In a similar way, it's happened again. I know, completely different scenario.
Helena's saying OJ was a state case. Helena, do you mean a civil case, like when it's like the other cases against Diddy, sorry. So just to be clear, when we live in a world that is when it's that sad, right? We all know that Ron's over exaggerating to try and make a point and all this stuff. I fully hope you all understand that I'm fully aware of the imbalance of predatory actions between men and women, what the real problems are, who are the ones that cause the majority of the issues, and trust me. But we cannot live in a world where we just go, oh man, bad, guilty. Can't do it anymore, ladies. Sorry. So we need to ask ourselves, how can we as a planet, it's a big one, how can we as a planet redefine how we deal with our cases when it comes to women without allowing the door to be opened for more lies?
Lie detector test.
Oh, now we're bringing in the science.
I was just about to say that.
Okay, so now what we're saying is, you've come into the police office, told me as a police officer you've been R'd and I'm going to tell you that I instantly don't believe you and want you to prove it on a lie detector.
You don't tell them you instantly don't believe. You make it
You
part of
just
the
do it.
procedure
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
investigation.
So
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're talking about a polygraph. That's Uber's brought up.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's the thing. Hang on a second. No, Ron, do you really believe women would choose such a bunch of shit for their lives, even if they knew rubbish was calling the girls? I don't know what you mean. I believe that the system is completely broken. I believe that regardless of how you look at it, no crime, whether it's shoplifting or R-wording, should be at a 14% reporting rate. Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Like,
you know, the Nikita Hand, that's come up again, isn't it, in the news with McGregor?
oh yeah, no. Do you know what? We're going to put a pin in that because we're going to
There's
cover.
a lot going on.
No. We're going to cover that next week because
brilliant.
Yeah.
because it's a great example of what I've just talked about. Why is McGregor still got anything? Why is McGregor still the part owner of the BKFC? Why is he still mulling about doing anything? And I don't know the full ins and outs of the case, so we will dive into it. But it's really interesting because
he's acting now, isn't he?
We are
genuine. This is a genuine lady. She's had a really horrific abuse. And it just makes a mockery. Any false accusations make an absolute mockery of genuine cases like this.
My suggestion would be, though, if you meet somebody on a night out and they are you, don't then leave and come back. It's probably going to affect your case. That's all I'm saying. All right.
Yeah.
So
people do crazy things when crazy things happen to them, you know.
Nah. People,
and there's a lot of dysregulated behavior that happens afterwards that people then point the finger even more at women and go, "Oh, look how crazy she's gone." You know, it's reactive abuse, but it's reaction to abuse.
Nah.
Especially when they've been manipulated.
No, you meet somebody on a night
So
out, and then you go and get R-worded by them. And then you go back again to the house. At what point have you decided you've been hard? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do you see what I'm saying? So at what point has the crime taken? At what point has the R happened? Did the R happen and then she left and came back and she thought?
That's what she did.
Because I don't get it. I don't get it. Would Ron say the same thing to his daughters? It depends what thing you're talking about here, mate. Because we're having, this isn't Ron as a father. This is us having a tough question discussion about how we can fix an issue that seems unfixable.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, Ron. Because if you're a father of a daughter, what do you do?
Oh, you arm them. You arm them. Seriously, arm them is what you do. You arm
advise.
them.
You give them good advice.
Well, defense, isn't it? Defense and protection, isn't it?
So survival
being vigilant
mechanism.
and discerning.
So we're going to talk about Disco's point here of survival mechanisms. So if I get burnt, I don't stick my hand back in the fire. That would be a survival mechanism of not putting my hand back in the fire, right? Do you see what I'm saying? And also, I just want to reiterate, I fully agree with everyone's points about that you're arguing against me. I just feel like today we need to ask the hard questions. So don't think Ron's gone to the dark side or his friends with Diddy or anything like that. It's just, we often just sit here and go, oh yeah, the situation is really bad. Oh, how are we going to fix it? How are we fixing this crap? You see what I'm saying? That's what's frustrating the hell out of me, you know? And I'm sorry, ladies, but there's men that ruin it for all of us and there's women that ruin it for all of you. And are we ever going to find a balance of do you know what, actually? Let's just go back to everyone wears CCTV, right? Oh yeah, Ron's 100% beaten. This is 100%. Because I'm sick and tired of the same conversation. Sometimes we just need to act a little bit crazy to spark conversation. No, I'm not backing Diddy up. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Like, grow some freaking intelligence, mate. Okay? Grow some intelligence. Because now I'm not backing up Diddy. I'm asking the hard questions. I'm asking the hard questions.
Yeah.
I'm glad you do.
Because
And it's like,
it just
and
makes,
you're right
it just makes for an
about,
interesting conversation because, like I say, I've got daughters, I've got a mother, I've got a missus. Like, we all have women in our life we care about, but we all have men in our life that we care about. And for me, I've seen a lot more men be damaged by lies in my real world, not in my online world, not in my online world. A big shout out to my community, the survivors, all of that. Spawned from it. Do you know, it's very interesting, Disco. I just learned about that. I learned about that from an interview with a lady that you're going to hear about over the weekend. And I learned all about because there was apparently only 3 Fs: fight, flight.
Yes.
No,
fawn.
So it's fawn,
freeze.
Freeze, fawn, fight, flee, something else. And you're really, really right, because there is
Bravo as well.
100%. Livy is in the waiting room. Hang on 1 second, everyone. Let's just get Livy in. Hopefully she's not.
Ron, can I say something?
Who is that? Stacey. Yes, of course you can.
Stacey.
Yeah, of course you can.
All right. Well, for one, the answer is there needs to be a better due diligence process when these claims come up. Now, I do believe that Cassie was definitely a victim in this situation. Jane, I'm skeptical of on certain things that she testified about. I do think she kind of ruined part of the case. The problem in this world is there are plenty of people who see a money grab and they go after it, regardless of morals and ethics. And I think it is the lawyers and our police and everybody else that gets involved that needs to go through a better vetting process.
That's a good
to
point.
check if there's validity to their claims.
Do you know what's really sad? Because everything you said there is bang on, but we're in a world now where no one wants to be a lawyer, no one wants to be a police officer or a doctor. They want to go on YouTube. So we're at the dregs now. We are at the bottom of the barrel. Do you wonder? John Wedger said it last night. You've got guys in the police who usually take 15 years to get a promotion. They're getting promoted in 2 years because there's no one wanting the job.
To some degree, there's a lot of people that are in the force that I know for the past 20 years, 25 years. They're coming up on retirement and they can't wait to retire because they can't do the job that they originally were doing. So I do agree and understand that. And part of the problem is that these cops have to wear a camera. Because people are making false claims about cops.
Do you know what? Do you know what? We're just going to nip this in the bud now. Okay. The solution.
Can I just say one more thing?
Is everybody wearing CCTV? That's the solution. Okay. So
I think they should.
Until we come up with a better solution, ladies and gentlemen, go and get your CCTVs, slap them on your back, slap them on your chest. I'll be honest with you. That's the old. I mean, don't get me wrong. We'll make them look classy. Doesn't have to be like the police ones with the big bulky ones. It can be, they can fit in with your fashion sense, ladies and gentlemen. But other than that,
so that's tin pot helmet we need now, right?
Other than okay, so let's go.
Can I just also say? One more thing?
All I'm saying is, has anyone ever been Ard in a medieval suit of armor? Okay, all I'm saying, okay, is if we all go back to wearing 120
we need to bring back the chastity belt.
The Frank Drebin.
I'm just saying, all I'm saying is
medieval times are here.
Right, we go back to medieval fashion sense.
Ron?
Yes.
Can I just say, like, nobody's actually said, because who's to say that wasn't fixed?
Which wasn't fixed?
Him getting off.
We
wasn't actually fixed by someone.
Well, we talked about that earlier.
And the juror 25, I think there was something dodgy going on with him.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I do think it can be. There are, like you say, there's people in the police force that are most probably paid. Do you know what I mean? Like everywhere is the police force, lawyers.
Nice.
Yeah, and and they can be easily paid off. So who's to say that?
Right.
That wasn't fixed.
Pam. We said this.
This happens in. Sorry, Ron.
No,
sorry.
no, give me a second. So This is the misconception. Why would you pay anyone? There's a paper trail. Like you would just say, "Oh, hello, Juror 25. I heard that you have a son and he goes to this high school. If you don't want him to end up in our tunnels, you're going to do what we tell you." And that's way better for business than paying people. Why would you pay people? Like, you know what I'm saying?
They do that, don't they?
Well, you got
So
Ben
they
that
got them in
can
the pocket.
you got Ben anybody, haven't you? You can
but
doctors
no,
are Ben.
but
you
no
know.
one's. Oh yeah, no.
Funeral directors are Ben.
Yeah, but
Money seems to rule a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm not
Everyone's
talking. We're
Ben.
not talking about doctors. We're not talking about.
Sorry,
we're not talking about that. We're talking about it's easier to make you do something. Why would you pay someone, especially on a jury? You would just threaten their life, and if you can't threaten your life, then you pay them. You know what I'm saying? But you don't threaten their life. You threaten the life of others.
I was just kind of thinking more the like police side, the feds. You know, people were saying that he was interacting with the feds as well, which I don't know if that was true or not.
Don't know.
But you know, everybody seems to be in everybody else's pocket.
Right.
Yeah, and you can weaponize the court system now. That look at the divorce cases with wealthy men. You know, all they need to do is just haul the woman through the court system, maybe remove the children. Jobs are given, isn't it? That's what they do in reality in the UK now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Many people are weaponizing the court system just to get their own way.
As opposed to all the women, as opposed to all the women that go into a marriage with absolutely nothing and then try and divorce their husband and take half of everything. Come on, ladies. Come on.
That does happen too. Yeah.
I cannot speak for that.
Come on. Come on.
Can I say something?
Yes, of course.
It's not me.
Yes, there are a lot of bad men and women out there that do things that are abhorrent, that they're a law unto themselves. I do think with regards the ladies that were saying they were still girlfriends with Diddy, etc. Part of why they were kept in that scenario was he was very vocal about using the videos and evidence against
control tactics,
everybody.
Yep.
Which controls them into
100%.
staying there because they're petrified that this is all going to come out to the whole world and they're going to know what's been going on. And those kind of things can.
Yeah.
And there's the coercion and the RICO.
That can go a long way to making people in a situation that they're not happy with.
The blackmail was a big part of it as well, wasn't it?
At minimum, even if it wasn't considered trafficking, at minimum, it should have been part of the, coercion and control and bribery and extortion part of the RICO.
Definitely.
Because the threats were evident, they were proven, they were testified, by multiple people between the assistants and the victims.
Yeah. You're right when it comes to that. I was going to say something and I've forgotten what I was about to say.
Spit it out, girl.
I know. I was just about to say something. And
Yo, so anyway, listen, everyone, Discord, thank you for your input. Sorry to cut you off. So listen, here's where we're at. This is where Ron is at with the Diddy case. All of these women who have been in this case that took the stand are 100% victims one way or another. Whether it's a 19-year-old being groomed into the arms of this mogul offering up a life-changing record deal, put up in the most incredible gilded cages you've ever seen. And you don't think these are victims? Of course they are. When Ron goes off about why these women don't report these things, when you have a 22-year-old up against billionaires and millionaires, you must be stupid to think that they have any hope in their mind. You then have the coercion and the control tactics, the grooming, all of it. It's a terrifying scenario that has no good outcome. There is nothing to learn from this. There's nothing to even gain from this. This is currently happening now in Hollywood. This is happening on your street you live on. The tactics used by predatory individuals, both male and female, are so foreign to us normal individuals. But when you have an 8-year-old in the local school round the corner from where I live being sextorted over Snapchat, the levels that these monsters will go to across the board is beyond us. But when we look at the enabling factors of our friend groups, okay, we as men need to seriously take a stand, because I'm getting a little bit embarrassed by my own half of this race. And do you know what really set this wheel of mindset in motion for me? Was when you look at OF customers. All right. So the majority of people on OF who are buying ladies content are men. The majority of people on OF buying male creators content are men. Like, we have got this thing with sticking our bits in things. And when it's consensual, it's all fine. Okay? But when you have that one weird pal, right, that may or may not have been seen dropping something into someone's drink, and you laugh it off, or you convince yourself it's not happening, you are the problem. You are the problem. You are the wind that blows the fire through the brush. You are disgusting. And I'm telling you now, I'm done with this whole, hey man, it's just boy culture, it's just boys. Nah, it's disgusting. And across the board, we've all seen it. We've all had that one ass grabby friend in the club, right? Had that one ass grabby friend. Oh, where everyone's leaving the club, let's grab some asses. No, I say nay. I say nay to that buttock grabbing. Nay. It's just mental. There's no good conclusion to any of this. We can go down the corruption road. We can go down the incompetency road. We can go down the scared for their life road. We can go down this whole frickin' road. So in cases then where we are questioning the capability of the jurors to be alive, why are we showing the faces? Why have we not got, I mean, I'm not talking about let's have a secret court or anything like that, but how do we rule this out? How do we rule this out? And we all need to be vigilant and live in the Tate brothers. I'll be honest with you, the Tate brothers are an interesting bunch. We need to catch up on their latest series of criminal charges, because the Tate brothers is a prime one for this argument. Kit and Katie, sorry. Because I don't know how I feel about cases where the women have to be told they're victims. Okay? Like, oh, here's Livy. Hang on a second. Livy, wait. We're coming back to Discord. Discord, are you there? Livy, are you there? There we are. Sorry, Livy. I missed you the first time. I missed.
Hello. How are we?
Yes. Hang on. We're going to get S22. I'm going to touch on your point once Livy said a chat. Is that your way, sweetheart? Come and say bye to everybody.
Bye, Dan and Vinova.
No, if you're going outside,
bye.
You can come. Oh, look how tiny she is. Look how tiny.
Yeah.
Look how tiny she is.
Bye, Vinova.
Oh, where was she?
Bye.
Oh, good day,
I'm gonna clean it.
Danny.
Oh.
Okay.
Bless.
And you're so cute too, babe.
No, she can't hear a word you're saying. They're all saying that you can sort your hair out. No, they're not. They're not. They're saying you look beautiful.
Oh, you bet. I don't know.
The hairbrush.
Okay, so
You used your brush, Dan.
right, Livy. Let's talk to Livy for a minute or two. Then I'm going to go and touch on the closing statement, which is going to tie in with what 22 said. So, Livy, how are you? First of all, thank you for being here. How are you?
I am absolutely freezing cold, to be honest.
Right. Where are you? Are you in Australia or New Zealand?
I am in Australia. In
None of us have any sympathy for your ass. Don't be coming in here and telling us it's cold. Okay, wait, I tell you what, wait 4 months and then tell me if it's cold. How about that? Okay. But no, seriously, Livy, how are you? Tell us about the coldness in Australia. Come on, educate us.
It's really cold at the moment. I'm sitting outside because the house is asleep because it's almost 10:30.
Okay.
So I've made my way outside to talk to you
Is
guys
it
tonight.
is it 10:30 in the morning tomorrow? Is that what you're saying? Is
Night.
So,
No. 10:30 at night.
Is it nighttime tomorrow though? Is it the 4th where you are? Is it still the 3rd?
Still the 3rd.
Still the 3rd.
I am Thursday the 3rd.
Thursday the 3rd. Okay, that's fine. So you're all right. So you're like 10 hours ahead of us. No, 8 hours. 8 hours ahead of us. That's wild. Okay, interesting. Okay, anyway, so give us your thoughts on it all, Livy, before we sort of wrap this one up.
I was really confused with how the jurors got to where they came to in the end, being that one of their decisions, I didn't think they could get to that without the other one being true as well. But they said not guilty to that one and then guilty to that one. And I'm thinking, well, how can you be guilty of one but not the other? Like, it didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I honestly believe he's guilty. There's just too many women that came forward. But I want to know, where are the tapes? Right. Where are all these tapes that they said they found?
Right.
Who were on there?
Right.
And when is that going to come to light? Because if he gets out and then this all just, he's going to go back to his old ways. He's got the money, he can
100%.
pay people off. It's just the way it's been for so many years.
100%.
I worry if he gets out, he's going to start this crap again.
Oh yeah, he's definitely going to start this crap again. As soon as he's put into a mainstream prison, he's going to start this crap again.
Yeah, well,
100%. Did you just Google that, Ron? Did I just Google what?
The Australia saying that it's
No,
winter now and
it's Southern
summer
Hemisphere.
Christmas.
It's the Southern Hemisphere, so everything's backwards.
Yep.
The toilets flush
Yep.
the other way.
Yes. Completely
the season,
opposite.
like it blows my mind that in Australia it's midsummer when Santa comes.
Yeah.
Right? Could you
It's
imagine?
really
Can you
shit.
imagine what a
It's really
Christmas book?
shit,
Can you imagine
Ron.
a Christmas storybook in
Santa's on the
Australia
beach.
for kids? And it's sunny days. There's no snowmen. Here comes Santa sweating his balls off in the freaking Australian heat.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Exactly how it is.
It's so funny.
Yeah, the
man.
Barbie on the beach on Christmas Day. It's like
Right?
crazy.
You go and ask Asha in the community what she's going to be doing on Christmas Day. Guarantee it involves a beach and a barbecue, and it blows my freaking mind every single time. Because it's something we don't think of. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you got to remember, Australia is a bit of a weird one because basically a few hundred years ago, we've got a lot of prisoners. What shall we do with the worst ones? Let's put them on that massive oven. And then all the white people basically got together and banged the living shaznas out of each other so much that they made a whole new race of people that just stuck to the edges of Australia. If you look at all
How
the
does it get a funny accent?
if you look at all the populated parts of Australia, they're all on the coast. You can fit all of developed Australia inside the UK because the rest of it will murder you. Okay? Like if you're in a place where if you break down in your car and you will cook to death in your car in 2 hours, that isn't for you to live in. That's not a place for you to live. That's for the solar panels. That's where the solar panels go, mate. Like the spiders too small will kill you. The heat will kill you. The cold will kill you. How can it be so hot in the day and then freeze? It doesn't make any sense. Australia's broken. I love you all. I love Australia. I love Australians, but your country, the weather is broken. It's broken. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It took millions of years for the indigenous people of Australia to evolve into a race of humans that can stand in the middle of the outback, not a wee bit in the outback, not like, oh, I'm a brave white dude in Australia and I've traveled for 20 minutes in the car. No, like the middle of Australia, okay? And just stand there and be like that. It's an all right day, isn't it? All right day today. Let's go for a wander. What? You're going out for a... Why is the part of their culture walking? Why is there a whole culture in Australia where we're going to go for a walkabout? Why? When? In winter? When? Because you ain't going out in summer. No one's walking about in summer, mate. Freaking off your nuts. That's what you are. But anyway, big shout out to Australia. Big shout out to Australia. If you've not killed all the spiders yet, do the right thing today, Australia. Murder a killer spider. Okay, the big ones that don't harm you, they can stay. But if it's the size of your pinky nail and likes to hide inside your shoes, murder them. Why? White people have failed if you've emigrated to a country and not murdered all of the insects and animals that can kill you. Scotland used to have wolves and bears in that, mate. Killed them all. Killed them. Do you know what the most dangerous thing in the woods is now? Me and the badgers. That's it. That's it. Brilliant, mate. Okay, that's
I've got more. I'm watching possums crawl along.
Oh, how good are possums? How good are possums? How good are possums, man? They're just, they always look like,
very cute.
They always look like you've caught them doing something outrageous, right? They give you these looks like, oh, okay, listen, I know there's a crack pipe and a bag of stuff in front of me here, but this is nothing to do with me at all. Okay, listen, Livy, thank you for being part of the show. I'm sorry we had to cut it so short. So thank you to everyone on Discord once again. Big shout out to Stacey and Cheyenne and Pamela Malam, Kaza, Lady Kate, Uber, all the usual crew. Thank you so much for your input. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, we will be tasking this awesome force of ladies and gentlemen on Discord into some new topics of content for you all. So they won't be disappearing with Diddy. They will be back. So we will see you all just shortly, ladies. And we're on to this now. Okay, hang on. I can't read that. Fear of disbelief, blame, retaliation, re-traumatization often prevent SE survivors from coming forward. 100 million%. And until you get educated on the tactics of these people, I still think we live in a world where there's some people, through no fault of their own, have no clue about just how dark some of these tactics are. And when I was doing all of my dark web work and doing my research into predators, and I was like, how am I going to learn the tactics of these predators? Because if you go to the zoo and you go to the lion enclosure, that is not how a predator works. A predator ain't just sitting about, well, in a lion's case, he probably is. He just has 9 wives and sends them all out hunting. It's a really interesting dynamic with the lions. You know what I mean? The most fabulous hair in the lion kingdom. And it's one of the few occasions where the women get the worst end of the stick. Because all I'm saying is if you're a male spider, okay? If you're a male spider, stay a virgin. That's all I'm saying. Just stay in your little web and sort yourself out. Because I've got some news for you, spiders. Okay. Once you're finished your shenanigans with Lady Spider, she gonna eat you. Okay. She gonna eat you real fast. Maybe that's what humans need to do. Maybe women need to evolve to the point where if they choose to, they can consume the man after he's finished. That could be okay. So CCTV or women evolving to the point where they can unhook their jaw and swallow a man whole are the two options for how we stop this. I'm probably seeing a little bit more of a success rate and traction on the CCTV than the splicing women with anacondas. Okay. All right. Okay. You solved it, Ron. I just wish, man. All jokes aside, if I could push a button right now and you all still looked the same, like you didn't have pure mad mega jaws, right? That'd be a brilliant solution. It really would. Like if men had to worry about being eaten afterwards, this is problems being solved overnight. The animal, do you think maybe there was a big situation with a bunch of male spiders thousands of years ago, and all the female spiders got together and go, right, we need to evolve. Okay. We need to evolve as a society where we eat these guys. Okay. Anyway, jokes aside, Diddy bad. Diddler is bad. It's just Hollywood is bad. The cover-up's bad. The normalization of light sentences, the normalization of this whole series of events is disgusting. And it's a sad state of affairs when what seemed like one of the most open and closed cases in Hollywood still produces nothing. Stop being a dauber. I do not want the human race to thrive. We need to murder at least 3 billion. Easy. Overnight. Gone. Everyone put your name in a hat. Good luck. Ron cares about Earth. Okay? That's what Ron cares about. Humanity can suck its mum. Humanity has proven time and time again that you're a waste of time. Okay? Waste of time, waste of resources. He can't be trusted. We can't even be trusted to not murder all the lions, mate. We're the lions. We're the lions. Don't talk to me about humanity. Stuff humanity right up the backside. Bunch of savages. Savage, selfish, abusive monsters. Yeah. Yeah. And don't get me started on the fucking vegans, all right? Listen, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being awesome. It was a bit of a spicy one today, okay? And sometimes we need to sort of ask and say stupid things to provoke conversation and thought. Because too often we're stuck in this cycle of we've got to believe everything we hear. And sadly, that's just not the world we live in. But in this case, 100% stand by all of these poor, poor victims of this horrible man, this horrible culture, this horrible place of that is Hollyweird. It really is sad. It's you know, it's even sadder is the realities of victims, their ability to get justice. Yeah. So if you are an abuser who's watching this, suck your mum. Okay. In fact, don't do that. Stay away from your mum. In fact, go to the police station. That's what you should do. If you're not an abuser, suck your mum. All right. I'm going to be back here in an hour. All right. We're going to be back at 3 o'clock, building up the traction for Sean for 4 o'clock. We're going to be diving into 150 women and young teens who have been, stupid question, but is that a teddy bear in your shirt? Yes. It's a Teddy Fresh right there. Literally the only designer label that I even remotely own is Teddy Fresh. But it is, yeah. Little guy right there. Look at the guy. Look at that guy. What was I saying? I got sidetracked with a teddy bear. I can't remember what I was saying. Oh, yeah, we're back in an hour. So we're going to be talking about the 150 women that have been attacked in France during a music festival with syringes and needles. We're going to delve into the outcomes of this, what this could mean. We're going to look into the previous urban mythology of all of this and have a little bit of an hour-long show. Then we are in at 4 o'clock with Sean. And I do believe this is the show we've all been waiting for, right? This has been rearranged about 10 times. And what's interesting, though, is it's not on the dash here, but it's in the back end of YouTube. So I don't know what Shawnee Boy's doing. So it's Epstein's niece, Anya Wicks, is up at 4 o'clock, which is in 2 hours. So you'll see me at 3, and then we'll be into Anya, and then we're into a royal mess this evening. I'm not going to be doing members night tonight. I'm going to be doing members night tomorrow night because I want to get Hard Target involved. And to be perfectly honest, I don't have the budget for getting Shimmy Shammy Shimalammed twice in a week. So saving it all for Friday. Yeah, 150 women, my G. Still doing Friendly Fire tomorrow. Hell yeah. Listen, Friendly Fire will be on my channel. Members Night will be on my channel. Well, obviously, we're going to have content coming out on Sean's channel. I've got 2 pre-recorded interviews that are going up. I'm going to be coming out over the weekend. There will be weekend content. Ron is just plowing the content and seeing what works. So the starting at 11 o'clock, it's not really looking like it's going to work out. I'm going to change some of the thumbnails around and see if that helps, but it might not just be the right time. We may shift to a slightly later start. Personally, I don't want to do that. I want to stick with 11. So we will see what is happening. But Friendly Fire will be happening. Members Night will be happening. Love you guys. Like and subscribe. I will see you back here in an hour. You're all legends, and much love. Peace.